Okay. First of all, I believe everything is functioning okay and well. Let me just double check. I need to apologize to everyone because I was extremely busy today. Um, and I thought that I would come on and finish the video that I started yesterday. However, I'm actually go back to the beginning um, and start from the first frame. I got a few calls and there's some questions, and individuals still did not quite understand everything. So I'm going to go through what I began yesterday. And actually, from there, we'll get right on into it. So, that said, um, let me first and here. Okay. So I didn't want to bother anyone this evening. I thought I'd kind of tiptoe into the room, take care of this, tiptoe back out. For those of you who are, however, here, we're glad that you're here. Thankful that you're here. I hope that you enjoy the content. Um, that said, let's go ahead and get started. We began yesterday touching on this because I had shared with everyone on Sunday um, a statement, and I had asked for those uh, who would to go on Google and ask if a nonprofit was private property. And Ms. Mintz had stated that it is. I repeated that it's not. She stated that it is again. I repeated that it's not. Now, I want to do this because I want to share with everybody and show you why she's correct and why I said that it's not. Um, so, as you heard on yesterday, when I had made sure to let everybody know and understand what she was saying was based on the law, and a nonprofit, we will see, according to the law, is private property. However, we will also see a few other things. For those of you who saw the video from yesterday, you know where I'm going with this, but you didn't see the rest of what I wanted to say. So let's go ahead and jump on in here. The legal concept of undue influence. We talked about undue influence, how the members of our organization and many other organizations have been psychologically conditioned to believe certain things. We're going to see tonight that the law looks at those individuals as being victims. And we will cover that a little bit later. But for individuals that have been psychologically conditioned to believe certain things, you just can't get through to them. It's okay. They've gone through some things and a series of things to get them to think that way. But what I want you to focus on is this. Look at the risk of unlawful ouster and civil liability. While private organizations and churches generally have the right to set their own dress codes or health rules on their own private property, the method of enforcement matters legally. Even though they have the right, a nonprofit organization, they have the right to set their own dress codes or health rules on their own private property. The method of enforcement matters legally. And right there within that sentence is the reason why, even though Ms. Mintz correctly said, according to the law, that a nonprofit is a private property, their property is private. They can set whatever rules they would like. However, the method of enforcement matters legally. And this is what I'm going to zoom in on. With that in mind, let's look at this. So the question that I asked was, is a nonprofit religious organization considered private, right? Private property, and can mandate things to members of the public if there is no law that says the public has to comply? The short answer is yes, a nonprofit religious organization is considered private property, and it has the legal right to mandate rules for members of the public who enter its premises. Because of the constitutional separation of church and state, government entities do not own religious properties. Even though a church, a mosque, or a synagogue may invite the public inside for services, it does not lose its private property status. It retains the right to exclude people or set behavioral conditions for entry. They can set whatever rules they want, even if those conditions are not backed by government law, because it's their premises. And again, we're going to see and understand, which is even more important, why it is that they have the absolute right to set their own rules. So, the right to set rules and mandates under property law, the owner of private property dictates the rules of conduct on that property. A religious organization can mandate rules regarding dress codes, behavior and speech, health and safety. And health and safety is where we want to focus on, because I had stated on Sunday, pertaining to the mask mandates, pertaining to the vaccinations, pertaining to riding the buses and sitting in the services, that the people don't have to wear masks. The people don't have to get vaccinations. And this is why we're going here tonight and piggybacking off of yesterday to make sure that we all have a clear understanding of what we're talking about on Sunday. So, a religious organization can mandate rules regarding health and safety. So, requiring masks, vaccine verification, temperature checks, even if the local government has no such laws in place, nonprofit organizations actually do that. If a member of the public refuses to comply with these rules, the religious organization cannot legally arrest or fine them. However, they can ask the person to leave. If the person refuses to leave, that person is committing criminal trespass, and the organization can call local law enforcement to actually remove or even have them arrested. And it is that particular topic that I wanted everybody to understand again on Sunday. And let's continue here. So, why nonprofit status does not make it public? Just because you're a nonprofit does not mean you're no longer private. A common misconception is that because an organization is a 501c3 nonprofit, it belongs to the public. Nonprofit status is simply a tax classification, meaning the organization serves a religious or a charitable mission rather than enriching private shareholders. It does not turn the physical building into government or public land. Just because you're a nonprofit, it does not transform your buildings, your offices, and all of those things. It doesn't turn it into public property. It's still private property. Exemptions from public accommodation law. In civil rights law, businesses like hotels, restaurants, and theaters are called places of public accommodation. By law, they cannot discriminate against customers or deny entry arbitrarily. However, federal laws, including Title II of the Civil Rights Act and Title III of the Americans with Disability Acts, explicitly exempt religious organizations from public accommodation rules. This means a church has a constitutional right under the First Amendment to choose who it lets in and what rules visitors must follow, completely separate from the laws governing standard businesses. So, whereas if you go to a mall, they can't make you wear a mask. If you go to a non-profit private property, they actually can. So, why is it that I was saying that they can't? This is what we're going to get into so that everybody will understand and not actually be of the impression that you can go in and simply say, no, I don't have to do this. Again, we're making sure that everyone understands actually how the law works. Black Diamonds, how you doing, sir? Um, Good to see you. Gracie Garza, hello, good evening. Um, and Shelly Boy, hello there, good to see you as well. Um, this said, let's look at this next question to open this up a little bit more so that everybody will actually understand exactly and precisely what I'm getting at. Can a church mandate the members to wear a mask if there's no law that says they don't have to? Can they force their members to take vaccination shots or be put off the premises? Again, the short answer is yes. A church can absolutely mandate that members wear a mask, and they can legally bar or remove anyone from the property who refuses to comply, even if there's no government law requiring masks. Furthermore, while a church cannot physically strap someone down and force a needle into their arm, they have the absolute legal right to require proof of vaccination as a condition of entry. Anyone who refuses can be ordered off the premises. And I know it sounds exactly the opposite of what it was that I was saying. But again, I need you all to make sure you understand what I'm saying tonight, because we're going to clarify this so that everybody completely understands what's going on within our organization as well as outside. And that's why this is important, because people that are not members of our organization, they can take this information and go out and say, well, you can't make me wear a mask. You can't make me take a shot. You can't make me this, whatever those rules are. And I needed to clarify and let you all know that, yes, they can. A nonprofit can set their own rules. And I'm going to also show you why we all get to say, well, no, I don't have to do that, because there is a catch 22 here. With that said, look at this. Private property rights overrule personal preferences. A church is private property. Again, confirming what Ms. Mintz said. Under property law, the owner dictates the rules of entry. The owner, think about that for a moment. You can come back to that. Just as a private homeowner can tell guests to take off their shoes or leave, a church can tell its attendees to wear a mask or leave. The absence of a government law is irrelevant. Property owners do not need a government mandate to create safety protocols for their own buildings. Now, physical removal versus forced vaccination. There's a legal distinction between forcing a medical procedure and conditioning entry on a medical procedure. Or in other words, there's a difference between saying, no, you have to take the shot versus, well, you can come in only if you take the shot. See, there's a difference. They're not saying you must take it. They're simply saying, if you've taken it, you can come in. If you have not, you can't. Now, this organization that we're in, they're saying that if you haven't taken it, you can't ride the buses. Okay. And I said on Sunday, You don't really have to pay attention to that. And again, we're going to get to why I said that. A church cannot physically force you to take a vaccination. But they can say, if you want to walk through these doors, you must show proof of vaccination. If you do not wish to get vaccinated, you cannot come inside. And that's pretty much what Mr. Cunningham did when he said, if you're going to stay in this house of prayer, you're going to follow Addie Cunningham. If not, there's the door. So according to the law of the land, it sounds like, well, yeah, he can say that. But keep paying attention because I'm going to show you why he can't. When we pay closer attention to what's going on, we see here the charge of criminal trespass. What constitutes a criminal trespass? What is it that defines a criminal trespass? If a church leadership team establishes a mask or vaccine policy and a member refuses to comply or obey, the church has the right to revoke that person's permission to be on the property. If the person refuses to leave after being told to do so, they're no longer a parishioner. They're no longer just a member participating in the services. Now they become a civil and criminal trespasser. The church can call local law enforcement, and the police will physically remove or arrest the individual for trespassing, not for violating a health mandate, but for refusing to leave private property when ordered to do so by the owner. And see, this is where Mr. Cunningham runs into problems, because he's not the owner of the organization. I know on paper it looks like it, but he's not the owner of the organization. If you look at this slide, you see the beginning is highlighted. It says if a church leadership team establishes a mask or vaccine policy, if a church leadership team, well, who's the church leadership team? If our organization, according to Mr. Cunningham, does not have a board of trustees, who is the church leadership team? If Mr. Cunningham says there's no need for a tribunal, who's the leadership team if he says we don't need no 3 or 4 or 5 people sitting down together, no meetings, deciding what we're going to build, where we're going to build? No, one man, one man, one man. Well, if one man is making that decision to tell the entire organization that you have to have a mask on, or you have to follow a vaccination policy, that decision being made by one person, well, now let's take a look at what the law says about that. If that's the case, what if the organization doesn't have a board deciding on these mandates, and the members are demanding reform due to unlawful rules that the members did not discuss, consent to, or vote on? Can a CEO that is acting like a dictator force the members to do what they never agreed to do if there's no oversight into keeping the CEO in check and alignment with the laws of the land? Short answer, no. No. Can a CEO force the members to do what they never agreed to do? No. A nonprofit cannot legally operate without a board of directors. And a CEO acting as a dictator cannot force rules upon members if doing so violates the organization's foundational bylaws or state corporate laws. If a CEO has dissolved, bypassed, or failed to appoint a board, which is backwards because the CEO does not appoint a board. A board of directors hires the CEO, not the other way around. But the fact is that AI is telling us if a CEO acts in any way, shape, or form without the presence of a board of directors having say so in this decision making, then the CEO is operating illegally. The CEO is operating illegally. In the eyes of the law, a nonprofit is not a private kingdom. Mr. Cunningham has treated our organization as if this is his kingdom. And this is why he refers to himself as a king. The law says he's not a king. The law says we are not his subjects. The law says he does not get to rule over the members of this nonprofit. The law says he does not get to dictate anything whatsoever to the members of this nonprofit. Therefore, since there is no board of directors, since he's attempting to make himself a dictator, he does not legally rule over anything. Therefore, the members now do not have to comply. When he says, I want you to wear a mask, you wear a mask. You're going to stay in here. You're going to listen to Addie Cunningham. Nope. Not one need whatsoever for any member to be afraid of a dictator in a nonprofit who's acting like a king, especially given the opportunity to come forward and learn how the law works. And there's no board, no oversight committee, no checks and balance system, who continues to say and want everybody to accept one man, one man, one man. The law says no, 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 no. There is no one man, one man, one man, not over a nonprofit. It's illegal. Therefore, when you see if a CEO is dissolved, bypassed, or failed to appoint a board, they're operating illegally. In the eyes of the law, a nonprofit is not a private kingdom. It is a public trust overseen by state and federal regulations. A nonprofit is overseen, regulated, and governed by the state and federal regulations that's been in place by offices and administrations put there by government, state government or federal government, every nonprofit. So for Mr. Cunningham to be acting like a CEO dictator, I said, wear a mask. I said, get that jab. Before you come in here, before you get on that bus, the law says his rules are illegal. If you are a member facing a dictator, look at the bottom, CEO who's inventing unlawful rules without oversight, the legal reality of the situation and the steps to force a reform follow specific pathways. The reality, the legal reality of the situation and the steps to change that situation follow specific pathways. Now, we're going to look at, well, if this is the case, well, then what do we do about it? With that said, the legal reality The CEO is breaking the law. If there's no board of directors, the organization is out of compliance with both the IRS and state law. State law mandates a board. In almost every state, a nonprofit corporation is legally required to have a board of directors, usually a minimum of 3 distinct people: a president, a secretary, and a treasurer. Operating without one means the entity is structurally deficient and can have its corporate status revoked by the state. The IRS mandates independent oversight. To maintain 501c3 status, the IRS explicitly requires an independent governing body to prevent a single individual from controlling the finances and operations for personal benefit. We have one person, Mr. Cunningham, who says quite loudly, when you give the money, you don't tell me what to do with it. Illegal. We don't need no bunch of people doing anything that brings about confusion. No, illegal. He intentionally lies to everyone in here because that's what keeps the system going forward within our organization. And this entire time, the members did not know that we've been involved in illegal activity. This is why they keep on telling you, stay off of YouTube. Don't watch YouTube. They don't want you learning what it is that they've been doing and having us taking part in is illegal. If there's no board, the organization's out of compliance. It's that simple. Now, a CEO running a nonprofit with zero oversight, look at the bottom of that slide. Zero oversight is a massive red flag for private inurement, using a charity to enrich or empower oneself, which is grounds for losing tax-exempt status. Now, our members don't understand what that means. That literally means being shut down. Losing the tax-exempt status, we're no longer nonprofit. We're now for-profit. The problem with that is since they've been treating this like a for-profit and taking everything in here for themselves, they meaning the CEOs and whoever's working with them, they've been treating the house of prayer like it's their own personal bank account. Let me show you a little bit further, and then we're going to get into showing you how they've been doing this. That in mind, the power of voting members. You mentioned that the members did not vote on these rules. In nonprofit law, legal members are different from standard supporters, donors, or congregants. If the organization's articles of incorporation or bylaws formally establish a voting membership structure, the members are actually the highest authority in the organization, ranking above the CEO. According to the law, the members are above. We have a General Assembly. They rank above the CEO. They rank above the General Counsel, above the General Assembly Secretary. The members collectively, pay attention, in a true membership nonprofit, members legally hold the power to elect the board, amend the bylaws, and even vote to remove the leadership because the members are the boss. If the CEO is implementing rules without holding required member votes, like get a jab to ride the bus, even a charge for bus seats is illegal. Not one member should be paying to ride the buses. We're going to show you that. To tell everybody in here, no, you're going to wear them at. It's illegal. You don't get to dictate to the people in the organization. If the people agree to your rules and discuss it and vote on it, and it passes by a unanimous decision, then now we are to be governed by those rules. But if that never happened, then you cannot force legally the members to wear masks or get a shot or to pay money to ride those buses. As I've been saying, people, it's even illegal for him to have his name on the buses. Any of the CEOs. We just did not know it because nobody was checking the law. And even me, I didn't even think to check until I found out with my wife in the 2022 General Assembly that the CEOs, they've been manipulating our laws and deceiving the members of the organization this entire time. With this in mind, the true membership nonprofit members legally hold the power to elect the board. We have the power also to remove leadership. If the CEO is implementing rules without holding required member votes, the CEO is violating the organization's own corporate charter, which is a breach of fiduciary duty. The government takes that seriously. Now, how to force reform and remove the CEO? This is what we've been saying. The members, if you're sick and tired of paying for seats and wearing masks and having to get a card to show that you took a shot, if you're sick and tired of all of the illegal activity and all of the corruption and all of the embezzlement and all of the money laundering and all of the theft and all of the yelling and the screaming and making people do this and finding people with all kinds of unlawful and illegal rules, another form of criminal activity, it's called extortion. If you're sick and tired of all this stuff, and we can continue going on and on and on, the members can simply come together, as you're about to see, and get rid of all of them. Just like this. And this is why I've been telling everybody 3 weeks, as little as 2 weeks, and if everybody got on the ball, 1 week. If the CEO refuses to implement a board, and our CEO has done everything he could to keep a board out by deceiving the members, along with the general counsel and the General Assembly secretaries, making the people think that they're having a real and a legitimate General Assembly while using the people's lack of knowledge against them. They've kept a board from being established in here so that they can continue this one-man leadership and do all kinds of things with this money that none of us know about. If the CEO refuses to implement a board or listen to the members have the legal right to force a restructuring, and this is all we're preparing to do, to restructure the leadership and how this organization is governed is all we've been attempting to do. The members have the legal right to force a restructuring through 3 primary avenues, and we are going to talk about one of them. Now, step 1, demand the corporate bylaws. We already have these. Members have a legal right to inspect the organization's foundational documents, the articles of incorporation and bylaws. You have to get a copy of these. Again, we already have it. Look for the section on meetings of members and removal of officers or directors. Chief Executive Officer simply means that he is the largest officer of the corporation. He's the chief officer. As a CEO, that makes you an officer. And the officer itself, of course, is an employee. And we've gone over this over and over again. Look for how many members are required to call a special meeting. If you can rally enough members to meet that threshold, you can legally force a meeting. vote to appoint a legal board of directors, and have that new board immediately fire the CEO. Just like that. I showed you all a clip from a movie called Meet Joe Black, how the owner of the company walked in and there's a board meeting that he knew nothing about. The board asked him one question that he refused to answer. And because he did not answer their question, the board at that moment took a vote. It took less than 5 minutes. Voted to have him fired on the spot. Just lost his job just like that. Why? Because legally, the board is the boss. They dictate, they decide, they determine everything within the organization. We don't have one. Mr. Cunningham has been taking advantage. It's now time for the members to stand up because we don't need to keep going through this since we are the employer and he's the employee. But remember, he said, "You didn't hire me." No, you didn't hire me. I'm going to be here until Lord, call me home. Trying to run it like a dictator, as if the members don't have any power to remove him. No CEO talks to the organization this way. You don't want to follow me? Get out. No CEO does this. We have the absolute right and we have the numbers to do exactly this. Now pay attention because this is where it gets really tricky as we go forward over the next several slides. Hello, Shelly, boy. Good to see you. Jay Steezy, good to see you. What do you mean clown? Let us know what you mean clown. Let's see where we are. Okay. According to regulating laws and the laws of the District of Columbia, who's the owner of a church? And this continued a little bit, but I wanted just to focus on this real quick. Who's the owner of a church? Under federal regulating laws in the District of Columbia, Nonprofit Corporation Act, nobody owns the church. So remember, the law says the owner can make rules that people have to comply with. Well, the owner is literally stipulating those who run that nonprofit, right? So we saw that if a church leadership group decides to set rules, then everybody at that point, yeah, you have to comply. You have to abide by those rules. That's the legal authority that they have. But since we don't have a board, we don't have a group of leadership, we don't have a board, we're not talking about the general counsel. We've already demonstrated through the supreme laws that the general counsel is also in non-compliance with the law. They are co-conspirators with what Mr. Cunningham is doing. Same thing with Mr. Jimmy Jones as a General Assembly secretary. And now to make the whole kit and caboodle complete, you add Mr. Murray to the mix, and now he's the Assistant General Assembly Secretary. What in the world's going on here? These are individuals scratching each other's backs in front of the members of the organization, laughing in our faces while they go behind closed doors and do whatever they want. But the members are waking up. Now, by the time we get to the end of this, you should be wide awake. By definition, a 501c3 nonprofit corporation cannot have an owner, can't have partners, can't have shareholders. Instead, the church's assets are legally classified as a public and religious trust. The organization belongs to the public at large. That's what I was also getting at when I said not private property. But As long as they're doing everything according to the letter of the law, it is private property. The problem is our organization is not doing things according to the letter of the law. And since the CEO, the General Assembly Secretary, and his assistant, the General Counsel themselves, are all skirting around the law, they're doing everything to break the law. They're bending the law. They're skirting the law. Since they themselves are non compliant to the law, because they're not obeying the law does not give them the legal right to tell anybody else, these are our rules, you must follow it. No, the law looks at you as a criminal. The law looks at you as a lawbreaker. The law is not going to say, well, you, Mr. Lawbreaker, we're going to give you the legal authority to tell other people they must do what you say when you're breaking the law. They don't give you any authority whatsoever. They want to take you, put handcuffs on you, and lock you up. So, in a situation like ours, where the leadership are all corrupt and breaking the law, legally, they don't have the right to make rules and mandate, stipulate, or enforce anybody else to follow them. Period. The organization that we have, look at the third portion of the slide. Even if the church operates across 26 states, its structural ownership and ultimate authority are governed by specific legal bodies and documents. Ultimate authority, the board of directors or designated body. While there's no owner, the District of Columbia Code dictates that all corporate powers must be exercised by or under the authority of a board of directors. The biggest thing in the organization is the board of directors. It is supposed to be the General Assembly, but they've stripped the power from the members by giving the members this impression that the CEO, his word is final. Whatever he says goes. He can't be judged by anyone or condemned, not by the General Assembly, not by the members. Only one can judge him is our Heavenly Father. Well, the law of the land says that's illegal. No, we're not going to enforce that. So once again, since Mr. Cunningham is involved in an illegal activity and covering up by using the council and the General Assembly Secretary and others, General Assembly Secretary, he and they are co-conspirators in nothing more than criminal activity. Period. Let's go a little further here. This is why he showed up last night in Washington, 6 and M Street, I believe. Yes, 6 and M Street. Ultimate authority. While there is no owner, the District of Columbia dictates that all corporate powers must be exercised by and under the authority of a board of directors. The CEO is not the owner. A founder, pastor, or CEO is merely an employee or an officer appointed by the board. They have zero personal ownership over the church or its multi-state assets. He cannot make any rules. He cannot tell the guards, security, chairman, councilmen, pastors, you make sure these members do whatever. No. The members are over all of the pastors. The members are over all of the general councilmen. The members are over all of the chairmen. The members is even over the bishop. It's called the governing body, referred to as the General Assembly. And any officer of this organization that's given the people a problem can be brought into a meeting, and the meeting consisting of the members can vote them out. As simple as that. A designated body exception. Under DC law, religious corporations' articles of incorporation can vest board like powers in a designated body, such as a council of elders, a diocese, or a congregation. Now, look at what this says. A religious corporation's articles of incorporation can vest board like powers in a designated body, such as a council of elders. Now, they may say, well, we have the general council listed inside the Constitution and the supreme laws. And we have to say, yes, that's correct. We do. But the problem with that, there's no board. The problem with that is, even though there is a General Assembly, you stripped the power of the General Assembly out of the people's hands by making them believe that the bishop and the General Council are over the people. Therefore, when this all comes out into the open, the laws of the land are going to say, oh, not only is this foul ball, you've been deceiving them from the very beginning. And all of these self-made rules and these fines and the coercion and the manipulation and the psychological conditioning, all of the things that you use to take these people's money, there's a word called restitution. And we're going to be getting into every single one of these issues so that the members of this organization understand not only what you've been doing, but the fact that you've been stealing from them from day one while getting them to trust in you. And in a few more slides, we're going to show everybody how the money is being partially laundered in the house of prayer. This council, the General Council, was not set up by the people. The General Council was set up by the CEOs, the bishops. And so when you look in the supreme laws, that first article, you'll find the General Council in there, and you'll see the fact that they work for the bishop. They don't work for the people. And they work for him in order to protect him and the assets of the organization. They're not there to protect the people. They're literally puppets working on behalf of the CEO in order to keep the illegal activity in here covered up away from the people. Their job is to make you believe in him while telling you, because he is who they say that he is, your job is to give him your money because he is all of the world, all over the world, the one anointed man. And according to what was said in the Old Testament, he, our Heavenly Father, is going to bless you if you bless him. And in all these blessings being passed around, don't forget about us. And we're going to get to that in a moment. So, whoever is named in the DC corporate charter holds the ultimate governance power. Well, the corporate charter should have the people in it. And this is going to be another big problem. Let's go on a little bit further. Hello. Oh, Kareen, Miss Kareen. And look at this. The role of voting members. If the church was incorporated in DC as a membership corporation, the formal voting members hold the ultimate structural control over the organization. The members hold control over the organization. Under DC law, these members act similarly to shareholders in a regular company, but without financial ownership. You're the boss, you just don't own the money. But neither does Mr. Cunningham. and neither does Mrs. Madison. They've just been acting like they own it. And they've been doing everything they can to make sure that while they control the money of this organization, they try the best they can to make sure that nobody gets a dime. Now, watch this. Don't get upset. I'm not trying to upset you. I'm trying to educate you. I'm trying to get you to learn what they've been doing and psyching all of us out, including me. Watch. They hold these voting members, first paragraph at the last sentence, first paragraph, they hold the legal right to vote out directors, approve amendments to the bylaws, or block the sale of church property. The members can come together and have a vote and block the sale of church property. Mr. Golden Boy, Miss Mintz, they've been telling everybody that they've been trying to sell Charlotte number 2. Well, guess what? The members get to do. Wait a minute, wait, hold up. What y'all doing over here? Well, see, y'all weren't supposed to know about that. Well, what you doing? What's going on? Well, first of all, you need to know your role. Ain't but one leader in here, and everybody else, as Mr. Murray said, everybody else is nothing but followers. Not but one leader, and everybody else are followers. Know your role. No. According to the law, and our dear sweet Uncle Sam, he says, that's not how this game is played, Mr. Murray. No, there's not one leader and everybody else is followers. No, that one who wants you to think that he's your leader, he's been lying to you. That's right, lying. He's not your leader, not according to the law. He's your employee. Employees follow. They don't lead. Employers lead. Employees follow the instructions. So a CEO is supposed to be following the instructions of the voting members, which is normally called a board of directors. But we've been having a general assembly that's supposed to have the legal powers and the authorities that come with that title and that assembly as a board of directors. So the people not only can come together to vote him out, but they can also vote to stop the sale of church property. And the fact that we have evidence that they've been trying to sell Charlotte number 2 means the people can not only come together and put a stop to it, but get rid of every single one of them and hold them accountable for making business transactions behind the backs of the members of this organization in order to enrich themselves. All of this is coming to a stop. Members, you have no idea we have that much time left. And we're trying to beat the clock because at the end of the clock running out, they could be coming in and we don't know what they want to do. We hope that they're willing to work with us so we can save our nonprofit organization. But the fact of the matter is there's been so much criminal activity and corruption. They may come and just shut it all down because there's nothing we have to bargain with. We're talking about 100+ years of corruption and criminal activity of the worst kind. To include, yes, molestation, to include pedophilia, to include human trafficking, child exploitation, yes, child labor, theft of compensation. I can go on and on and on and on and on. The worst kind. What happens across the 26 states? Operating in 26 states does not change who owns the church, but it alters how it is regulated. Foreign qualification The church must register as a foreign nonprofit corporation, a foreign nonprofit corporation in each of the other 25 states. This gives it permission to do business and own physical property there. In other states, you must have a foreign nonprofit application. And that looks like this. Okay. See this here? Application for certificate of authority, a foreign corporation. This was filed in a state, but it had to be also disclosed that, as you can see at the top, United House of Prayer for All People is incorporated in the District of Columbia. So they know where you're incorporated. And since you're incorporated outside of their state, you act as a foreign entity. You're not foreign from a different country. You're foreign from a different state. You operate in another place outside of this state, and you're knocking on the doors of the state, asking us for the state's permission to come in and operate within our state. But you're foreign because you're not incorporated here. We don't know you. You're from another state. And this is why, for those of you who don't understand how this all works, this is why Texas is called the Lone Star State, the single star, because they made sure inside of their charter, inside of their state's document, the Constitution, that anytime the state leadership chooses and the members of that state's residents, they say we're in agreement. Anytime they want, they can literally vote to detach from the United States and become their own territory, their own country. So when you hear Lone Star State, the idea behind it is we stand on our own. We're single star. Texas, don't mess with Texas. If we choose, we'll separate from all of you other stars and stand on our own, the Lone Star State. They're not dependent on any other state. Now, y'all might get help from us from time to time, but we ain't playing no games. And if y'all don't act right, we will pull away in a heartbeat. Why? Because they have expressed written language within the contract called a constitution. And therefore, they get to say, before you come in here and operate, no, you're going to get our permission, because Texas don't play that. So you have to have an application from a foreign geographical location. And that's where the District of Columbia comes in on this particular form. Now, going back to what we were just talking about, you see where it says foreign qualification, the church must register as a foreign nonprofit corporation in each of the other 25 states. All of these other states has to have that document. Now, what we're finding is all these documents that's been filed over 100 years does not have some things. And there's nothing anybody can do about it because it's been sitting there the whole time, and now people have copies. Can't change them. And these very copies will be used. So Mr. Cunningham knows he's lying. The council knows that they're lying. The General Assembly Secretary knows that he's lying. And the Assistant Secretary also very well, he knows that he's lying. The partner of Mr. Cunningham in crime filing documents to make himself part owner of the organization, while members are sitting back just taken advantage of over and over and over again. These individuals are traveling around talking to the members to their faces, telling y'all, just stay with us. Just keep doing what we tell you. Don't watch no YouTube. Don't let your ear be used as a dumping ground. These are the same liars that work to protect other liars. And they want the members of the organization to continue to be ignorant of the facts. That's why they keep telling you, stay off social media. Everybody that refuses to watch social media, they're stringing you along as if you are a fool so that they can continue robbing you blind and keeping you in a mind frame to do absolutely nothing whatsoever about it, knowing that you have the power to get rid of every single one of them just like that. That's why he's doing all this traveling, trying to pop up, to continue to instill fear in the people, yelling and yelling and yelling. Now he's begging, pleading. I just stopped by to see y'all. Well, we don't want to see you. Not in here. No more. Because we're on to you. The gig is up. All your entourage coming in and walking down the aisle with brown paper bags of money. The gig is up. All of these meetings you're having all over the country behind closed doors. The gig is up. Internal governance stays in DC. Internal governance. Even if a dispute happens at a church branch in Texas or California, the internal affairs doctrine dictates that the corporate governance rules, board duties, and bylaws are strictly governed by the laws of the District of Columbia. We have documentation in black and white that clearly defines perjury, where the bishops of the organization and other people that the bishop used lied to the government over and over and over and over again. Mr. Cunningham also. We have all kinds of documentation where he knowingly lied to the government. You can't hide the fact that you, sir, along with Mr. Murray, along with all these others, are complete liars. It's in black and white. The evidence cannot be more clear. Members of this organization, to support these people is to simply say you are in support of liars who are involved in criminal activity. That means that you are aiding and abetting. You don't have to commit the crime to be held accountable. So you've heard me telling secretaries, come out of these positions. Because I'm telling you, y'all still think nothing's happening. They hold control of all of these bank accounts. People being paid to try their best to keep us from doing what we need to do. We got that much left, and we can't tell you. We got that much left to take care of before it's all done. And we cannot tell you. But we can tell you this. If you're still there, then you too will go along with them where they go while we clean this mess up. Secretaries, stop taking chances on these people. They don't do nothing for anybody. He's not going to do nothing for you. Just like the song says, bad boys, what you going to do when he comes for you? Secretaries, multi-state supervision. The Attorney General of every single state where the church operates has the authority to police the church's local branches to ensure assets are not being stolen or misused by executives. There are regulating agencies that has the authority to do whatever they need to do in here, and Mr. Cunningham knows it. You all need to completely understand where we are right now. We're so very close, and we have absolutely no idea when they're coming in. Is the Daddy's Club program considered a type of money laundering? The short answer is yes. Daddy's Club is illegal. Daddy's Club is illegal. In a forensic accounting and federal legal framework, the Daddy's Club program, where members are pressured to turn in a $2,000 cash report, which the CEO then matches with undisclosed funds. Nobody knows where this money coming from. According to the government, the banking system, the IRS, where's the money coming from that he's putting in here to match with all these band members and choir members and all these people saying, if you get all of them, get all of them. Y'all remember in Charlotte where he told Monroe, you get 100 man choir. Oh, we'll get 200. I don't care how many you get. I don't care if you get 500. If all of them are on there by the time I get somewhere and you give me their names, I want all their names. And I come back and they got $2,000 each, I'll give all of them $500. Why is he willing to give $500 to all these people? $500 to all these people, $500 in G class. But you heard me say yesterday, choir directors get $2 for singing. Pianists might get $2, $3, maybe $1. Others get, why are you giving these people $1, $2? These are grown people. But G class, you're giving everybody 500, 500, 500. All these tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars a year going in G class coming from the bishop. I'm going to show you what's going on. That's my son. So these undisclosed funds coming from somewhere, the IRS, the bank, the government, they don't know where the money coming from, right? Because it's money that's not being reported. So right there, you're also involved in illegal activity because that money's undocumented. That money that they walk out that door with, that money didn't go into the secretary's book. That money wasn't counted by the secretary. That money was not announced to the members by the secretary. That money didn't get deposited into the bank account. There's no bank slip. There's no receipt. There's no paper trail. Nobody knows how much money it was in those bags as they go out the door. This entire system is illegal. When they do this, it exhibits the classic mechanics of integration and placement, which are the core components of money laundering. When an executive uses a nonprofit shield to mix undocumented, off the books cash, all those bags of money is off the books. It hasn't been documented by the secretaries. It goes up, coming from the maids go up, the bands go up, the choirs go up, individuals goes up, love gifts all over the place. Money, 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 all over the place. Little grannies, babies, money, money, money. It's not going in a book. Nobody's counting it. And all this money goes in the left pocket. Nobody counting that. Nobody counting it. All it goes into this can or this can. Then it gets rolled up. All this other money coming up in envelopes. Nobody's counting that. Now, there's reports that's come throughout the week in the form of a check, right? Clearing out bank accounts when it comes, it's a money drop. every part of the service. The maids are not paying attention to the service. The maids are not watching and enjoying the service. The maids have certain time periods, the certain cues that they must pay attention to. The whole service, the maids are working. They're watching him. He's doing little things that y'all don't know nothing about. He's sitting here doing this, doing that. Y'all ain't no paying nothing, no attention whatsoever. Doing nothing. All this stuff while service going on. We sitting there, just like me. I did the same thing, not knowing any of this. I told you before, let us rise for prayer. Every maid knows what that means. The start of a program, every maid. The intermission, speaker, every maid. Y'all thinking that this stuff is about giving praises and worship? It is. Praise, y'all praise. They've been instructed to do stuff. No, y'all worship. They've been instructed to do stuff. And when you sacrifice, they've been instructed to do things. Most of those maids up there, they know that there's a routine that revolves all around that money. And they never even stop to think about it because they're trained not to. Therefore, all that money throughout the entire service coming up, all that money is being gathered up and neatly stowed to go right back out that door unaccounted for. When that happens, when an executive, a CEO, uses a nonprofit shield, the house of prayer shield, while behind it, they take an undocumented money off the books cash with legitimate member donations. That money goes out the door. I'll give all of y'all when I come back. Okay, 300 people on this group, 140 people on that group, 30 people on this one, 40 over here, 60 over there, 72 over here, 14 over there. All these people. I'll give $500 each, 500, some 1,000. All that money adding up. Why? Because he can't bank it. He can't tell the banking system because the IRS will see, wait a minute, where did this money go? Oh, this is love gift. This is compensation for my services to the organization that I'm in, the nonprofit. I'm the CEO. This is compensation. That's compensation for my services. Let me ask you all a question again. I've been asking this from day one. What are Mr. Cunningham's services to the organization? What does he do to serve the organization? No answer. Nobody knows. To serve this organization, was any of the bishops? Nobody knows. AC units are broken all over the place. Steps are cracked all over the place. Foundations all over the place. Roofing problems all over the place. Internal structure issues all over the place. Equipment all over the place. Parking lots all over the place. But the purpose says to establish, erect, and maintain. Do y'all know what does not look like the condition of the house of prayer? Do y'all understand what does not look like the condition of the buses? Y'all do understand that all that money y'all spending on seats on these buses, yet the bus is breaking down every time you turn around, and you have to sit there on the side of the road for 2, 3, 4, or 5 hours while they get another one. We had one bus break down, they got another bus to pick them up, then that bus broke down. Buses not being fixed and maintained properly. Houses of prayers not being fixed and maintained properly. members' apartments and homes not being fixed and maintained properly. But the condominiums, oh, that's a different story. Condominiums don't have that problem. Condominiums don't have no problem at all. Condominiums sitting back, just money coming in, and they don't have those issues. All of this money going out the door to say, I will match if you all get 2,000, if you all get 2,000, all get 2,000, all get 2,000. If you all get 2,000, I'll match it. That's because the undocumented money he's putting in the house of prayer. Let me show you. It transitions from poor bookkeeping into a deliberate financial crime. To come and put and put and put and put and put becomes a crime. It's not an act of benevolence. He's not doing this because he loves you so much. If he loves you so much, instead of putting $500 credits on G class, why didn't he give all those people or whoever else needed it, especially those in a furlough, why didn't he give y'all $500 each? Why didn't he multiply it times 2 or 4 or 8? Why didn't he give anything to the people? Anything more than $2 or $3? Why is it that the people who went through natural disasters didn't get a thing unless it was from the members of the house of prayer who he told to go into their kitchens and pull stuff out? The people get nothing unless it's a G-class report, because it's his money, Miss Dolores' money, going back in the organization into a report on y'all's name so it can get banked in the house of prayer. That's what this means. When they use Nonprofit Shield to mix undocumented money with legitimate member donations, you're taking this money, all the love gift, all the whatever, other money, you're taking all that and you're putting it with the members' money. If y'all get 2,000, all of y'all 2,000, I'll give you all 500 each. They're mixing undocumented money with the legitimate members' money. They don't care how you bring it in, just bring in cash. Y'all make reports. I'm going to add mine to it. I'm going to add mine. I'm going to add mine, add mine, add mine. So my money can be deposited too through the bank. And then, you know what I mean? That money going to be clean. Now I can spend it. I can take it out and spend it because now it won't be questioned. I'm putting it in along with yours. Hello.
Howdy, howdy.
Doing excellent.
I wanted to make sure that I took a moment, just since I'm going through the comments here, to address all of them.
I wanted to find out what this clown was about.
Yes, do tell us in the comments so that we can address it.
I'm
But
wondering whether
anyway,
that comes to, any of the members, or now we know that we had some members inside the organization, right? That use that term.
mhm.
Um, so I'm wondering because, of course, we want to keep everything uh, in a situation where, we're not coming at. Um, and I also want to make sure that everybody on the channel understands what's being said. So this is why I'm asking Jay Steezy. Let us know what that means. But in the meantime, can you go ahead and remove that?
Uh-huh, there you go.
Mhm. Um, this I asked that a while ago, but Uh, let me let you finish what you were saying. Go ahead.
I don't know. I was just just going through, just sharing the comments. I was gonna just be in the background,
Okay.
but that was an interesting one, so I figured I would say hello while I was putting that one up.
Uh, got you. All
So
right. So here, let's look at the three stages of money laundering applied to Daddy's Club. I appreciate you, Golden Boy. Um,
my pleasure, sir. My pleasure.
the three stages of money laundering applied to Daddy's Club. Federal law defines money laundering as conducting a financial transaction using proceeds from an unlawful activity. What is the unlawful activity? The gathering of all the money coming from these illegal love marches. It's all illegal. Why do y'all think whenever we have services anywhere, especially the convention center, Washington, D.C., why do y'all think whenever they're videoing the service, they always cut that part out? Why is it trimmed? Why is it edited so that nobody sees the love march on the videos? It's illegal. And it is illegal compounded multiple times by more illegal activity, the way they even conduct the love march. The three stages: whenever there's proceeds from an unlawful activity, love march, selling on the yard is unlawful, it's illegal. There's no permits, there's no licensing, there's no food handling or safety certifications. There's no one, according to the law of the land, that's been qualified. There's nothing hanging up on that table that says that you have a permit or a license by the city or the state or even the federal government to be operating that system on the parking lot, in the baptismal area, in the social hall, or even in cafeterias.
I
When
have a
you,
question
yeah,
in regards to that. So then, when we're raising, uh, go ahead, continue, because it's just kind of, I just had a brain fog moment, but I got a question about what you just said there. I'll
well,
come back. Give me a second.
pertaining to the yard, the spots around the houses of prayers, just because you have a house of prayer location does not automatically make it legal for our members to say, I'm going to pick a spot on the sidewalk. I'm going to pick a spot in the parking lot. I'm going to pick a spot in the social hall. I'm going to pick a spot wherever. For chairmen to tell members to pick a spot so that you can sell, chairmen are even making money off of this by telling you you got to pay $50 for a spot. And depending on what spot, you might pay 25 or you might pay 100. Well, there's no accounting for this money coming in for the fee of having a spot. And again, there's no criteria for the members who wants to sell. There's no food handling classes. There's no food storage class. And we talked about all of this, right? So it is nothing but illegal activity all around the House of Prayer organization in every single service that the bishop announces that he's going to be present, right? Even when he's not present, there's illegal activity being conducted by the chairmen and the pastors. And now the members know that they've been sucked into this illegal activity by doing certain things also. But the
Question.
law says, yep,
All right. So, going back to videotaping services, right? So is that more of a reason for them to like really harp on the members not videotaping services so they're not like, slipping and catching, video recordings of a love march? You know what I mean? Because I bet if it was allowed for us to videotape inside of a service, we would all love to videotape a good love march.
absolutely,
You
absolutely.
know what I mean? So, and you don't have no videos of love marches, on YouTube,
Oh,
you know, but
absolutely.
again, you know, you wouldn't have time to anyway because everybody should have a dollar bill in their hand and if you're not in line, making your way, getting yourself ready to line up with the group that you fall in line with, you know, and then you go back through with the other group you fall in line with.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's reasons, right, why they say the things that they say, and there's reasons why they don't tell the members why they say the
Hmm.
things that they say. It's simply, quite frankly, do as I say, not as I do. So why is it that
Hmm.
you're told to not record, but they can record? Well,
Well,
do what he says, because there's only
yeah.
one leader, according to Mr. Murray, and the rest of us are followers. Go ahead.
Well, they sure had a fight on their hands trying to keep me from videotaping my cousin Dexter Reynolds' wake and funeral, and I videotaped that from start to finish on both nights. They were upset. Too bad.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that. I think we touched on this before, because there's certain laws that touch on this as well. So
Hmm.
it's unfortunate that our members are only now coming into the knowledge of these laws, just as we also did not know. They don't know,
Hmm.
but now we're making you aware. And one of the biggest, right, quite frankly, surprises is to find out that Daddy's Club is a form of money laundering,
Hmm.
right? And so, again, just like you said, the videos that they're telling members not to actually utilize, it's the same thing with taking pictures, because they can't control what members do, but they can control internal, um, permitted by the bishops, staffing to do those things, because now they're going to get those things and they can cut out whatever they want to cut out, edit whatever they want to edit. But the people, they can't do that, right? Which is another reason why in the General Assembly, they tell you to write your own minutes, right? But you can't record the minutes. Why? Because in a court of law, they can dispute your handwritten minutes, but in a court of law, they cannot ever dispute a recorded minutes that's electronic. You can't argue it because that's your voice, and it is proven that these events actually transpired. It's no longer your word
Yeah,
versus my word,
yeah,
right? So even that we demonstrated is illegal for them to say you cannot take your cell phones, your watches, or smart devices. That's illegal. Every single thing in here is illegal.
yeah. Oh, I posted some clips from the wake and the funeral on YouTube years ago. I'm literally the only person to have videotaped the full service. So when I put those clips on YouTube, oh Lord. And who would have thunk little old me would have turned into little old golden boy. But
Now,
you know, it was just an interesting thing. I took it down, you know, for the sake of his wife. You know, I didn't want them harassing her, you know, because I put it up, you know, so got me
yeah,
thinking that got some wheels turning. Sorry.
I'm sure it blew up.
Oh, it definitely did. Hmm.
And now let's look at that top paragraph on this slide. Uh, at the end of this, no, let's go back to the beginning. It defines money laundering as conducting a financial transaction using proceeds from an unlawful activity to conceal the nature, right, the location, the source, the ownership, or control of those proceeds. Now, we know that we're not told anything whatsoever about the money. In fact, let's go right back to what he said a few weeks ago. Once you give the money, you don't tell me what to do with the money. Right? It's the same time he said that he's the steward. Do whatever he wants to with it. The Daddy's Club system matches the three recognized stages of this crime: placement, the cash generation. This is where the organization extracts millions in raw, undocumented cash through the weekly love gifts, unpermitted bus seat fares, forced commercial marketplace labor, thus working on the yard or in the cafeteria, and $25,000 altar marches, right? And this is just a modest amount. 25,000 from a love march, you all would be surprised how little that is. Because it's not just a handful of people coming up with money. And we were talking about the senior, the adult march, and then the youth march, and then the grannies, right? Now, remember, there was a time when the love march would take 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour. How much money do y'all think landed on that table? Not to mention the amount of money that came through the program, not to mention the amount of money that was collected before he arrived, right?
And I think people are forgetting that you're talking about an hour of continuous marching, no breaks, constant, constant, back to back, back to back, back to back person. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you have to really put it into context and really for those that haven't ever seen it in another organization to know like what we're actually talking about in a march. You know, like we're talking about people packed shoulder to shoulder. They're almost touching chest to back. They're so close, you know, getting in the spirit, ready to give in the, you know, or march on the way down to give. So
It was a criminal dream come true.
absolutely.
And not even a single line, right? You're talking about
Mm-mm.
two lines coming down, two people together, right?
Mhm.
Boom, 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 boom.
Mhm.
Just cash, 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 cash. The table.
Mhm.
And so you have the people at the table who make sure that the money doesn't pile up. They're taking it, they're taking
Mhm.
it. But see, y'all not paying attention because there's maids back there too. And they're
Yeah.
taking it as it's handed off. And it's handed off. That's why the money on the table doesn't pile up, pile up. It is to keep
Mhm.
us thinking that there's nothing there.
Mhm.
Boom, boom, boom. And where did it go? Where did it go? Where did they have this system
Mhm.
down pat? Not to mention the buses
Mhm.
are going to come up at the end of the service, right?
Mhm.
Now, the extracting millions. This cash is smuggled out in brown paper bags under suit jackets, completely
Mhm.
bypassing. Now, it's not all in suit jackets. See, I'm not
Right.
going to go into more detail about this because people they thinking, well, Louis, no, no, no. Matter of fact, I'm glad I
Mhm.
went this route. Let me say this before I continue. Anybody out there talking about washing dishes? Leave the dishes alone. Leave the dishes alone. Let them stay where they are.
Mhm.
Leave them alone. Pots and pans, leave it alone.
Mhm.
Leave it alone.
Mhm.
Everything gonna take care of itself.
Mhm.
Did any dishes get broke? Leave the dishes alone. Don't worry about. Y'all don't understand what I'm saying. Um,
Mhm.
anyway, not gonna go here no more. Leave the. Mm-mm. Um,
Can we say
oh,
do less of a thing or
huh?
anything? Can we say anything along the lines of like do less of a thing or like can we say something like um don't work?
Well, those who understand what I just said, they know what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
There's things that people who don't know what's going on is going on. I've said before.
Gotcha. So they
Um,
would know whoever. Okay, got you.
right,
Understood.
right.
Well, they can stay over my head. I'm cool.
Yeah.
On to the next. My bad.
uh, so with that in mind, now, and yeah, so um, the Daddy's Club system matches the three recognized stages of this crime. Placement, we just went over this, in suit jackets, completely bypassing standard bank tracking and IRS reporting, which is the finance. When this money goes by and nobody knows what's going on, um, that money is considered illegal money. It's dirty money. Okay. And so this is why there's a whole lot of stuff around these bishops, right? You got stuff here, stuff here, stuff here, because it's too much. They can't do what they're supposed to do with it and put it inside of a bank. So it's just whatever. It's now that's the first part, placement. Layering the CEO's personal treasury. This paper bag cash is placed into the CEO's direct personal control or safe houses. Y'all not paying attention. All this traveling is not because I'm coming to see my children.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's places wherever, okay, where stuff is being put away.
Facts.
Okay. Now, because it was never banked or recorded, its origin is completely obscured.
Mm-hmm.
The government doesn't know where it came from. IRS don't know where it came from because it did not go through a system where it can be tracked as a legitimate income. So now you're just sitting on all this stuff,
I was about to say, what happened when you get biked up? You know.
right? And see, this is a problem because they painted, especially Miss Madison, you painted yourself into a position to where there's so much coming in. Now it's too much.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have a bigger problem and you have to try to figure this out. So this is where I won't go there, but it's a
You
big,
gave a great analogy the other night with the analogy with the get another gas station. What was that analogy that you
yeah,
told?
the car wash, right?
Car wash, yeah.
Yeah, Breaking Bad, the TV series.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And if you think about a living room, coffee table, right?
mm-hmm,
A coffee table beside a coffee table, and then two more coffee tables on the end, and stack those coffee tables. That's how high the money was piled inside of a storage room. His wife was telling him, "This is too. We can't wash this much money. They're not going to believe this much money
mm-hmm,
came through a car wash."
mm-hmm,
That show will educate anyone on what's going on. This person looked like they're they're not involved in any crime. This is a high school chemistry teacher.
mm-hmm,
Biggest thing on the street in that area for somebody who wasn't involved in things. Yeah, there's bigger people, but the point is
mm-hmm,
the product that they made was the biggest thing on the street.
mm-hmm.
We have individuals who know what's going on inside this organization.
Yeah.
And we got people all over the place who know that the members don't know. So they need the members to keep doing what they're doing so that they can take all this and put it with your money
Mm-hmm.
in order for it to get banked. And now your money with their money getting banked, it's all clean. And now we can take it and now we can do with it what we want. While you
Mm-hmm.
still got these huge piles in the storage room over here, well, we need to take out. And that's why everywhere he's going, he's telling people, yeah, you do this, we'll match that, we'll match that. Now, think about this. How many bishops did it? Coming up with ways to put money with legitimate money. How many bishops
Mm-hmm.
said, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this? And it goes back into the house of prayer. It goes back into the house of prayer. It goes back. It's not because they're thinking about the house of prayer. It's because they're using who they call stupid people to wash dirty money that they got from the same stupid people, or
Mm-hmm.
that they stole stupid people's money to create other income streams, and then they taken that
Mm-hmm.
money to put with the other stupid people's money. Me
In
being
their
one of the
words.
stupidest.
In
Yeah,
their words.
yeah. Looking at us like fools. Telling you, I love you. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your love. Where's your love? I keep saying this. You ain't showing no love.
Brother Lewis,
Yeah.
you know, I showed the video of McCullough feeding all of us rotten watermelon on my platform on one of my earlier shows.
Mm.
And the people were so excited. And to sit and watch him cut open the spoiled watermelon and it be caught on camera, and it's been there all these years, and we are so caught up in the person and the charisma of the person that we can't even see that he's feeding us spoiled rotten watermelon that is pitted on the inside when he cut it open, and we're saying that it's good and it's blessed and gladly eating it in the camera.
This is why the last slide is going to show everybody in here how the entire government looks at the members of the House of Prayer. The last slide is going to show us, everyone, how the government looks at us. Now,
Mm-mm-mm.
it's a shame what he just said, but pay attention, because this is why they do it. They need the people to believe in them in order to be successful at doing this. When that money comes through, placed in his safe houses, because it was never banked or recorded, its origin is completely obscure. The CEO then pulls from his exact pool of unaudited money to act as his personal philanthropy. He's taken, I'm going to give to the people. Oh, he gave us a floor. He gave us the whole year. Some people might get 4 floors. The only philanthropy coming from him is going to be in the form of G class,
Mm-hmm.
right? They say that the bishop is the biggest contributor in this scholarship
Oh.
fund,
Mm-hmm.
the biggest contributor. Why is he
Mm-hmm.
contributing? Because it's another way of laundering. Scholastic Achievement Award. We want to thank Precious, the largest contributor to the this, to that, to yeah.
I always wondered how. Like, how is this possible, dude? You just became the bishop and you're all, it just, it never made sense to me when I started looking at that portion of it, like, or understanding and comprehending that something was off there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I first started paying attention to that under Bailey.
Did not make sense,
Mm-mm, not at all.
right? And look at the matching. The CEO takes his hidden cash and matches the fundraising goals of members who reach the 2,000 Daddy's Club threshold. By
Mm-hmm.
redepositing this cash back into the church system under the guise of an official executive matching donation or award, the illegal cash is successfully integrated with the clean money that you gave,
Mm-hmm.
voluntary members' donations. It's now scrubbed, appearing on paper as legitimate religious fundraising. This is the exact same thing with the thing that's going on in 8th Street, the 50 Addies clubs. We're going to give away. See, that's another look. Instead of giving $500 to people, I'm telling y'all, Brandon not giving his money out of his pocket. I'm going to tell you something else. Y'all think that's coming from Mickey.
Right.
Mm-mm. There's select people around the organization that they're using from headquarters to funnel money through, that they're pushing to the front and make y'all think that they doing something special and they're on top of the organization.
Hmm.
That's why
No, it's just the people that know what's going on and that are with the program. It's just the people that are corrupt enough, that don't care enough about the community, that are willing to say, screw y'all. It's about me.
uh, the ones working along with them. That's why you have certain clubs. Listen, you have certain clubs on top. I told y'all about last year. H Street Mission, number two in the entire organization.
Mhm.
Charlotte should have sat down. Virginia,
Mhm.
New York, Georgia, every every the whole organization
Mhm.
should have sat down, knowing immediately.
Yep. You
No, I
know,
know this is.
can, I don't know because
Yeah.
Brother Lewis, I must say that I've had some pushback from members who just can't see how they wouldn't be beating. And I'm like, you got to understand, people in Charlotte have some of the most unique ways of getting donors to donate to the house of prayer towards their auxiliary in their name or whatever the case is. And I explained to them the year that the Clouds, I don't know the full story, but the year that the Clouds, the one year where they were the top band, I guess a certain major league team um down here somewhere around about us
Hmm.
donated 5.2 mil or something like that. And that's how they became top band that year. So, to know that, they have, you talking about one band bringing that in and all of the other people that are connected down here in the financial capital. Do you know how many different ways they can funnel money in and make it look like it's okay? Believe me, they have no issues down here. So it is mind-boggling to me. I don't care if they're taking out 20, 30, 45,000 dollar, loans to get on Addie's Club. It still does not hold a candle to what the body is doing down here in Charlotte. And you got to think about it. There are many members in Charlotte who still send in funds, but do not attend as well, that are devout, so yeah.
It's a shame when you look at the numbers of people that were a part of H Street's congregation.
Mm, 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 mm. Oh,
Number two in the organization. Yeah, was that what you got?
something just dropped in my mind that a member made a point to that I needed to mention to you, so I want to make sure I do it now on air then. A member made a comment to me earlier today, and they said Addie Cunningham is, and many of the members aren't too concerned about the raffle tickets not being sold because everyone in this organization knows that they can still mail in their G class. And I just would like for you to touch on that because I know we did touch on this topic and what this kind of falls under when it comes to using the mail to do certain things, especially since we're covering G class and its legitimacy. That way members understand, that this is here to help us all, but it's also a public declaration too, in a sense. But
Right.
like what is it that people should be aware of as it pertains to trying to skirt around the system to mail in to get G class credit or mail in any types of funds to this organization or to anything with any of the bishops' names on it, which we know are going to be, some type of trust or trust fund. So what do you say to that?
Anytime you are a part of sending money in, and I think it's coming up. I can't remember whether we covered this on Sunday or not. I know we covered it on Sunday. I think it may be coming up tonight as well. But anytime money is being sent in the mail, now it becomes a part of international crime, not international, but state, multi-state crime, because you're
Mm-hmm.
sending across state lines,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going not to an office, not to a bank, but it's going to a residence, which makes it
Mm-hmm.
another crime. Um, and that money is being conjoined with other money without being properly accounted for in any type of bookkeeping. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I talked about this, right, when it comes to the tithing. So you have
Mm-hmm.
house tithes that are sent to a post office box, right,
Yep.
using the mail system. Um, and you have personal tithes that the instructions is to send to the residents.
Mm-hmm.
Another blatantly illegal act.
Mm-hmm.
And not in the name of the house of prayer, mind you, but in the name of the bishop as trustee.
Mm-hmm.
So we have already compiled bunches of pieces of evidence to support, back up, not claims, not allegations, facts that they are operating criminally and involving the people in the criminal activities. So there's
Mm-hmm.
one, two, three, about 4 or 5 laws being broken for members mailing reports and money into Portal Drive. Um,
Mm-hmm.
now, for those individuals, as we put this information out, who continue to do so, now you're putting yourself in a position where you can be pulled in along with these other individuals for aiding and abetting,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Same thing for
Yeah.
people cooking on the yard, aiding and abetting. You're
Mm-hmm.
assisting individuals for tax who's committing tax evasion.
Mm-hmm.
You're assisting individuals even to now continue marching in the Love March. You're assisting individuals uh, who's involved in um, uh, illegal, unaccounted for monies being gathered that's not being booked, irregular
Mm-hmm.
bookkeeping practices, uh, interstate violations of transporting money that's not accounted for either, which
Uh,
is a part of laundering. Same thing with raising money on the buses. That's a part of laundering. All
What
these
about
things,
using a federal agency to move it, the mail? What about the
yeah.
fact that it's a federal
Oh
agency?
my gosh. We
You
talked about
know?
this too with the post office being as powerful as the FBI.
Absolutely.
People have no idea
That's
that the
it.
post office, their security and their law enforcement team,
Mm-hmm.
because of postal fraud, and people don't,
Mm-hmm.
because they know people do all kinds of stuff in the mail. When
Yeah.
they come,
Yeah.
again,
They said when we looked it up together online, Brother Lewis, that if you remember, it said that the U.S. postal workers, we went and fact checked it while we were online with you.
mhm.
U.S. postal agents have as much power as FBI agents. They are pretty much one and the same. It's just that one works for the post office.
And no one knew.
No one knew that. I
And
I, I didn't,
yeah,
So yeah.
stacked to the hilt in
Hmm.
body armor.
Yes,
You
sir.
don't even want to tell your members
Yes, sir.
they know they're in trouble. They know they're in
This
trouble.
and this is to help us. Okay. This is to help us. that's the important part, is that this is to help us and to prevent us, you know, from going down continually this road of destruction, you know, because they have us on it and we're like committed, fully committed, full speed ahead, you know, and we're locked in and we see the wall coming. But you know how you kind of, you know, when you're on a bike, sometimes you get that it's a syndrome, I think that they call it, where you're looking at an item on a bicycle, you're going really fast, and you're trying not to hit that item, but because you focused on it, you actually run into that item.
Oh, butterfly effect.
I don't remember the actual term for it, but
Yeah,
it's like kind of like when your bike run away down a hill, the brakes go out, and you're like, oh, I don't need to hit that pole. Oh, I got to go around that pole, and then you hit the pole.
yeah,
You
butterfly
know?
effect. And
Okay,
that's
got
pretty
you.
common, especially for police officers, which is why now they're taught when you pull somebody over to pull your car a certain way, because butterfly
Hmm.
effect. If you go on YouTube, you'll find now police officers, plenty of videos where they pull somebody over, but
Hmm.
cars run smack into them. Um,
Hmm. Yeah.
Butterfly effect meaning um, that they're drawn to certain things. So it's like
Hmm.
bugs at night with a light. They're drawn to the
Yeah.
light. So while you're
Yeah.
steering, for whatever reason, the mind does, you steer into what he just
Hmm.
said, what you want to avoid. And
Yeah.
police had to dodge and jump out of. You
Hmm.
see these videos all day long, but yeah, absolutely. Um, and the members are being intentionally put in that situation by our bishops. This is intentional, people,
Hmm. Yeah.
to have the members take part in, because they need the members to take part in it for it to succeed.
Mhm.
So,
Wow.
right, think about that.
Wow.
They need you to do what they've brainwashed us into doing. And I'm telling you, this is called brainwashing. Mr. McCullough. And when I talk about these bishops, I hope that everybody understands. I've said this over and over and over again, that family members of these individuals are not at fault.
Hmm.
You didn't.
Absolutely.
How can you get the blame for being born into somebody's family? It's
Hmm.
like saying the family of Hitler, all of them need to. No, they didn't do. Anybody who does anything, that's their choice, that's their decision. People born into their family, you can't hold them accountable for something that somebody else did. So I want to always separate family members from these bishops and the individuals around them, right? Because they're choosing to do all this wrong. Executive staff, they're choosing to do wrong. They're not innocent, especially when we hear what happens at Portal Drive stays at Portal Drive. No, there's a lot of stuff these people know. Anyway,
Hmm.
the point is that they're pulling the members intentionally into all of this illegal activity because that's what allows it to work. When you look at the matching fund program at the bottom, the CEO takes this hidden cash and matches it. The fundraising goals of members who reaches the $2,000 Daddy Club threshold by redepositing this cash back into the church system under the guise of an official executive matching donation or award. The illegal cash is successfully integrated with clean voluntary member donations. It's now scrubbed, appearing on paper as legitimate religious fundraising. Um, and that's why all these bishops were constantly giving away over and over and over again money to the members of the organization in the form of G Class. Um, Here, and this specific federal financial crimes committed by running the Daddy's Club matching loop, the leadership is actively severe major federal financial offenses. So for the members of the House of Prayer who keep believing in, for the members of the House of Prayer who keep believing in the idea of this is the holy anointed manservant, you have to know that whole idea is blown into pieces. You're looking at people who were caught with their hand in the cookie jar. And now the cat is out in the bag. This has been a front, a promotion for money laundering. Under federal law, if a person takes proceeds from an illegal activity, such as running a multi state unlicensed lottery or committing tax evasion, and plows that money back into the organization to keep the scheme running, it's called promotion money laundering. I'm going to put on a program in order to launder that money. That's exactly what Mr. Brandon Foster is putting on for Mr. Cunningham and Miss Madison. That money not coming from Mickey. She's not taking her money out of her pocket to just dump all this money inside the house of prayer. The reason why she's involved is because she knows that you got yourself inside of a situation as an attorney. I don't want to say but so much. And so now you have to do certain things, just like these councilmen and pastors. You don't have a choice. The executive staff, people trying to retire all of a sudden, I'm telling y'all, they are scared out of their minds. So when Mr. Cunningham says, y'all don't see me worried, y'all don't need to worry. That man is worried, he's scared, he's petrified, he's terrified, he's frantically panicking behind closed doors. But he wants you all to think that he's not, so that you can continue giving and giving and giving and giving and giving and traveling or whatever you're doing. So when he put on, instead of $500, getting $500 added to your $2,000, now we have $2,000. Can you mute your phone?
Oh, sorry.
Yes, sir. Now you have $2,000 being given. Instead of $500 being given for your $2,000, now you have $2,000 being given for your $500. That's promotion money laundering, right? The CEO is using hidden cash to incentivize pastors and members to work harder and raise more off the books cash, compounding the enterprise's growth. Truncating the bank audit trail. This is structuring. If the CEO is handing out large sums of cash to match these reports, or if local congregations are taking these pooled $2,000 batches and depositing them into banks in increments designed to avoid triggering a federal currency transaction report for deposits over $10,000, they are guilty of structuring, which is a separate federal felony. When you structure a program or a system to get around a method that's been set up for accounting of cash, so that that cash will be blindly used without going through that method, you've just structured a system to get around the system. In other words, the government builds a bridge, and that bridge has, a toll booth. And to get by, you need to pay $1 toll. But instead of doing that, you create a path under the bridge and around it. So now everybody taking it who don't pay that dollar, you just created an illegal system for people to get by that system. Well, when the government sets it up, it's legal, supposedly. But what you're setting up to get around the legal system that everybody else is taking, that's structuring. It's a federal felony. Just like I said before, when you have these little girls fanning you, that also is a federal felony. Like we've been telling you all, get the maids off these boards. Miss Mintz been talking about the wives. Golden Boy been talking about the wives and the maids and the band member. Charitable asset cycling. A 501c3 executive cannot legally operate as a private bank. Taking funds out of the church, holding them in personal custody, and then cycling them back into a specialized club to give out awards is a complete violation of GAAP. This is what Ms. Miss was talking about, I believe. She mentioned it on Sunday. Generally accepted accounting principles. And it triggers automatic corporate audit failures. You will not pass an audit with this type of activity, making it illegal. For the members to continue in these programs, it really puts people in a position to where you're going to find yourself having problems. It proves lack of board sanction. There's zero corporate record or independent board authorization allowing the CEO to unilaterally match $2,000 reports with untraceable funds. So when Mr. Cunningham says that, what does he call it, Golden Boy? One man,
Drop to the floor.
one man,
One man, one man, one man.
illegal. Right? You have to have a board.
Mhm.
And when they do this, it confirms the one-man tribunal model is actively laundering the structure of the organization. One-man tribunal is illegal. The Daddy's Club program is a critical component of the financial fraud. The Daddy's Club program is financial fraud. It provides a circular loop that allows the bishop to appear to be generous while using the members' own extracted funds to buy their psychological submission. I'll give them all the floor. Oh, yeah, we got to go back. He said he's going to give us all the floor. Everybody, we got to get it. 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 If you get 500 people, right? Monroe tried to get 200-man choir. Why do you think he's building all these large, gigantic groups? To get them to generate more and more and more money. Talking about this year, all these cities are going to have parades. Somebody said he's trying to have a parade in Baltimore, trying to have a parade in New York, trying to have a parade in Newport News, trying to have another one in Columbia, Savannah, Georgia. Why all these parades? To use the bands as a makeshift congregation. So if y'all are there for the parade, well, then you're going to be there for service. And if you're there for service, then it's more cha-ching, cha-ching, blah, bling, blah, bling, to get the people in, to get their money. And by setting all these goals for the people. But when it comes down to something that truly should be philanthropic, like, I don't know, raising money for school supplies for the children, he's getting the members of House of Prayer to even raise that money. Why don't you take some of the money that you're putting in for G class and buy school supplies? Why don't you put some of that money that you're putting into G class into, oh, I don't know, displaced families when their homes burn up? He's done nothing. This is why we keep talking about the furlough. He pulled up in this expensive car where the rims weren't good enough for him. He spent more money on custom rims and came out of 6M Street. Instead of giving, he took and told everybody, y'all tighten your belts because it's going to get hard.
Mhm.
You can't make this stuff up. People. Now, this is where it gets a little bit thick, right? Watch this. The Daddy's Club Incentive Framework, the text. Money contributed by the CEO as he matched financial goals given to members for reaching the goal of making Daddy's Club, giving a $2,000 report. This is what was on the program that Brandon put on at 8th Street. 50. We giving away 50 Addie's Clubs. That's $100,000 to celebrate the 100-year convocation. Yeah, no, no. It's all illegal. The violation. This confirms a structured commercial style multi-level marketing, MLM, multi-level marketing incentive layout, like a pyramid scheme. Nonprofit executives are legally forbidden from using unbudgeted personal cash matches to financially incentivize members to hit specific fundraising thresholds. Why is it that when he went to all those little teeny tiny congregations that got 5, 6, or 7 people, why isn't he telling any of those members, if y'all do something, I will give all of y'all $500? He's not telling them that.
Right, right. We just asked that same question last night that you posed here, which
Mhm.
is how is it that he is, so willing to put um, matching those folks that are going to do the Daddy's Club $500, 50 members. Why is he so willing, or why are they so willing to give you $2,000 per person, but
Right,
then when you march down, you get $1? I actually had a few band
right,
members
right.
called me today, and they said that they really and truly resonated and connected with that because they just can't understand how you are willing to give that much money towards their Daddy's Club, yet you're willing to allow them to get $1, $2, you know, um, in a march. Like that's crazy, you know?
It is
So
crazy. What's
yeah,
crazier is how long has this been going on?
right,
And we've been
right.
saying nothing about it whatsoever, right?
Hmm.
Um, the nonprofit executives are legally forbidden from doing what he's doing. Furthermore, as an active pastor, and see, I put in some of this, my history, 45-year member plus a pastor of a congregation uh, for 5 years, uh, an elder for 26 years. So it's adding from what I'd put in. Furthermore,
Question.
now this goes to all the pastors that's coming up. Yes, sir.
Have you ever preached at Dorada while Apostle White was the pastor? No, I meant to say in Biddleville while Apostle White was the pastor there.
I have not. No, sir.
Okay, cool, solid. That was
Mhm.
it. That was my only question. Hmm.
Um, I never had invitations from a lot of the pastors. After they heard me speak, they didn't want me. It
Yeah, you ain't preaching
was
enough,
no holds
Daddy.
barred.
Yeah.
I preached about the council, the
Mm-hmm.
pastors. I mean, I was nicknamed Loose Cannon for a reason on the council. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but anyway, uh, for the pastors, furthermore, as an active pastor, you know these funds originate from church members. Taking undocumented church cash, see, AI not going to protect your feelings. AI not going to massage you. AI
Mm-hmm.
going to tell you straight like it is. As a pastor now, Brother Lewis, you know better. This is AI. They're not going to
Hmm.
cut no corners.
And it's actually they're gonna give you the truth without any emotion.
This is where we're going. So if you're a pastor, you better pay attention because AI going to tell you straight like it is.
Yes, sir.
Taking undocumented church cash, filtering it through the CEO's hands, and matching it back to members to buy entrance into an elite tier called Daddy's Club is a textbook example of laundering and cycling corporate assets to maintain psychological dominance. Every single pastor has been psychologically dominating the members and keeping them conditioned to follow that one man. Every pastor.
Sheesh.
You're involved in laundering. Every single pastor. And you're also involved in psychological conditioning. And you're abusing the
Re-
members. Go ahead.
it's a term for it. I can't recall exactly what it is, but it's like religious abuse or abuse of religious power or something like that.
Yep. Spiritual abuse.
Spiritual abuse. Okay,
Yep.
got you.
Yep. And this is all going on right in front of our noses. The pastors, this is what I've been saying, the pastors are the ones at fault because they're using the pastors to give their orders to the members.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm. The henchmen,
Yes, sir. Now,
tax
pastors, you
collectors,
guys, huh?
tax collectors.
Yes, sir.
Sheesh.
Precisely.
Mm.
Now, pastors want to pay particular attention because we got something special for you all coming up. The use of burnt offerings and sacrifices, the quotation, right? For them to be talking about your burnt offerings and your sacrifices, that's another problem. For him to be talking about praise, worship, and sacrifice, 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 let's look into that for a moment. The CEO, the twisting, the CEO begins by congratulating workers who brought their burnt offerings and sacrifices to the house of prayer. Now, this is from the letter that every bishop writes every single year, right before the announcement weekend in Washington, D.C. We want to prepare you for the date of the announcement weekend. We will be coming to hold the announcements, blah, 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 blah. As you come, rejoice in your work. I want to congratulate each and every one of you, blah, blah. That's what this is. I took a segment out and I asked a question. The CEO begins by congratulating workers who brought their burnt offerings and sacrifices to the house of prayer. And if y'all remember, each and every time the bishop is about to preach, what does he say? I want to thank you all for your showing of love. I want to also thank you all for your hard work and sacrifices, giving as we work towards the building and the spreading of our Father's kingdom. All that nonsense, a complete lie. Look at this. Under Christian theology, Hebrews 10:11 through 14, the sacrifice, Jesus Christ, completely abolished the need for human burnt offerings or financial sacrifices to secure salvation. Reviving Old Testament sacrificial language specifically to demand that checks be mailed directly to his house at 1665 North Polo Drive Northwest is a direct weaponization of spiritual fear for personal financial gain.
Gang.
To use those words, burnt offerings and sacrifices, it's to use spiritual fear by weaponizing those words to get you to give him money. Your sacrifices go towards the building of our Father's king. It's a lie. It's not his kingdom at all. The United House of Prayer has never had nothing whatsoever to do with our Father's kingdom. Never. and they know it. The word condemns sacrifices and offerings. And this is what AI said. We didn't write this, we didn't make this up. AI brought it out. So to continue this charade, again, we're involving ourselves now in willful aiding and abetting. Because we now know that this money is going towards these people for their own personal enrichment. Now look at the summary. The G-Class program is not a protected religious practice. Right? It is an unregulated, multi-million-dollar commercial operation operating completely outside the American legal and financial system. It simply means nothing about the G-Class program is legal whatsoever. The lack of a board of directors, go ahead.
No, I'm just agreeing with you.
Mhm.
I'm a mute. My bad.
The lack of a board of directors combined with off the books cash collections by ministers means there is zero proof this money is being used for actual charitable purposes. Thank you for your sacrifices towards the building of his. Where's the evidence? You building houses and condominiums and shopping centers and shopping plazas and gas stations and retail. So where's the evidence? Greenville.
Well, Portland, Oregon. I wonder how they're gonna get a new rooftop. They have vegetation growing up through the shingles out there, and so I'm sure they're gonna need a new roof soon.
And all these other houses where they don't have AC,
Hmm.
they don't have heating in the winter. How many of you all are aware that some houses, matter of fact, I just heard that some congregations are now worshiping with other congregations because their equipment is down. We have some congregations that have box fans all over the house of prayer. Box fans. All these big old AC units, and y'all got box fans blowing hot air.
Oh,
The
guess
air
what,
not
Brother
going to
Lewis?
seriously turn cold. Yes, sir.
You know, do you know we are having house meetings in Dallas, Texas, for houses that are in the Charlotte region while they were in Dallas, calling emergency house meetings in Dallas
For
to
Charlotte.
discuss, yeah, to discuss what Golden Boy is talking about in regards to what we're speaking on right now and other things.
Oh, that number two is over at the mother house now.
Uh-huh, and that is on the market right now.
Oh yeah, for sale. And see, this is what we're talking about also. The members can easily come together right now. In fact, we're going to do this.
By the way, before you jump into, I've never heard of something like a pastor. Like that is like crazy to me that Elder Monroe called a house meeting for Charlotte number two while in Dallas, Texas, to talk about the factual information that we're bringing forward to the members, to beg and plead with them not to believe Golden Boy.
Didn't you
Oh,
show?
oh, 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 and one more thing. One more thing. Members from Charlotte number two have also confirmed that an appraiser has been by to appraise the building.
I was by number two today,
Oh, yeah.
and I saw equipment trucks out there.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I was by several different properties. And well, I won't say. Mm, I wondered at
That's
one
all right.
point in time if Mr. Cunningham saw. You members, there's so
Mm-hmm.
much that we will share after all this is done. But keep in mind that everything that we're saying to you all, even if y'all don't believe it, Mr. Cunningham, Mr. Morris, the council, they know that we're talking the truth. They know that we're telling you
Mm-hmm.
the truth. They're busy
Yeah.
lying to y'all, telling y'all not to believe us when we're even showing you evidence.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying, don't believe them. They're telling on us.
That's
Why
what
do
they're
you
saying.
think they're telling you not to believe them? Why?
Mm-hmm.
So, um,
They make you a
didn't you
devil,
show them
brother
the
Lewis.
ad, the
All right.
actual website? Didn't you show them that it was on for sale on the website?
Yeah, yeah. But I got some other documents I want to show as well. Yeah, it's still for sale, but it is not publicly listed anymore. So, but you can still see it on the MLS listing.
So people have to call.
Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, got you. Um, I just yeah. Okay. There's some
Hmm.
well. Um, so I'm gonna talk to you about this, but every one of you who's sick and tired of this mess and want to bring it to an end, email us. Email us. Just um, ready for change. Just those three words. That's all. Email us.
There's
Ready
the
for
email
change.
address right there. We
Mhm.
stand for right 2024 at gmail.com. I'll leave that up on the screen for you all.
If we get enough people, then we will let you know. Now, there's a number that we have is enough people. We'll let you know. All of you who email us, we'll let you know date and time for us all to come together and we can meet. And the result of that meeting will determine Mr. Cunningham and this entire council, these pastors, gone. Period. Now they can say anything they want to, but we're showing you what the law says. And this does not have to be controversial. It does not have to be um, disorderly. Everything that we're doing is organized. Everything that we're doing is for unity and unification. Everything that we're doing is to save the organization, the nonprofit.
Hmm.
Everything we're doing is to clean it up of all this filth coming from the top down,
Yes.
all of it. It would be pristine and shiny, polished, glistening, glistening, glistening. Um, so email us, ready for change. That's all. We get enough, we'll take care of it. If we don't get enough, we're going to keep doing what we're going to do until we get done and we'll fix it. But if you don't want to wait, every single day we wait, we don't know when they're coming in. If they come in and do what they're going to do to shut it down, it's going to take us more to get it back than the little bit that's necessary to fix it. The only problem is Mr. Cunningham and Miss Madison, y'all have no idea how much money they're spending all over the place to create problems that we got to get around and jump hurdles to get over to do what we need to do. Now, I'm not telling y'all what's going on. I'm not telling you what they're doing. They know what they're doing. But all you need to know is they're spending the House of Prayer money to block us. But that's okay. That's why y'all not seeing me make videos. Um, with that in mind, we get enough, tell you exactly what to do. And it's not going to take us no whole long lot of days. And immediately we get enough, immediately, as soon as we cross that threshold, I'll be contacting people We'll have a date. We'll have a time set, period. We'll have a vote. And at that time, it's nearly over. If they don't accept the results of that vote, it's on. You ain't got to do nothing after that. If they don't accept the results of that vote, it is on. Okay. So uh, let's look at the rest of this. The lack.
One more thing before you
Yep.
go ahead. I just
Yep.
threw up that QR code that I made. It's, a lot of this information can be hard to take, so, or to like, it's a lot, So with that in mind, I want to make sure I put that up, and I'm gonna start sharing this QR code more. It has a website on here. It's http colon / www dot nonprofitready.org. And that's all the letters I could fit in there is healthy mental work. I couldn't fit the O. So basically, if you guys are needing some type of mental health resources, this is a great outlet for you to go to where you can access some resources that are not going to cost you anything out of pocket.
Absolutely.
Although it is extremely valuable, they make it accessible to you without any out-of-pocket expenses, and you can access that right through your cell phone, your tablet, your laptops, etc. So, I do want to share with you all. Please feel free to scan that QR code and also to email that email to the email address at the bottom there. Thank you.
And all you have to do is set up an account, a free account, and they will never
Hmm.
charge you anything. They're not going to ask you for credit card information, none of that. It's
Solid.
quite frankly transparent, right? And you're going to find videos and other things there. It's a list. There's hundreds
Mhm.
of resources that you can actually use for all kinds of things. So take advantage of this. This is why we're
Definitely.
putting it up here. um,
Definitely.
but the lack of a board of directors combined with off the books cash collection by ministers means there's zero proof the money is being used for actual charitable purposes. Instead, when these pastors and chairmen and district chairmen and councilmen, when they take all this money and they funnel it to Mr. Cunningham or even Dolores, Miss Madison, excuse me, Miss Madison, instead it creates an environment perfectly optimized for massive executive embezzlement.
Mm.
And this is what we've been dealing with for many, many, many years. And he wants you all to celebrate 100-year convocation this year. The unadulterated gall.
Mhm.
Um, Here, the state assessment extortion. We talked about this Sunday. We're real quick going to get through this. The mechanism where a chairman assigns arbitrary mandatory financial quotas to local pastors to fund the CEO's personal expenses, state assessments, is a textbook example of private inurement and inurement of earnings. Both of these are highly illegal. Both of them. Textbook. You say that you're getting compensated through the love marches, but now when you come back, you want the members to pay for hotel rooms, rental cars, your food, other expenses, every single thing being put on the members by the chairmans, by the district chairmans, by the pastors. And let's not forget president of presidents and using the presidents to push the people in their meetings for more money. All of it illegal. I had, as the pastor of San Antonio, a 1 day visit where the district chairman sent me an email that I still have, letting me know that he and others are sending me a check. I have all of these receipts. I have, I'm sorry. People, they had no idea. I saved things
Don't
a
don't
long
laugh, brother
time
Lewis.
ago.
Don't laugh at him. Don't do it. Lord have mercy.
I learned a long time ago. Y'all did not know. I've set
Hmm.
national records.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I learned how to keep records real good when I served Uncle Sam. You know.
Whew. So I'm not gonna tell y'all what I have records in, but there's a one, two. I've been there's two worldwide records, but it's actually three. Anyway, um, San Antonio had a 1 day visit. That 1 day visit, the amount of money that the chairman said was $1,500 that we had to raise. So the district chairman and others were to send $100 from this house, 200 from this one, 300 from this one,
Hot,
right?
hot.
Why? Money that members had to raise. And then when he went to another place, but see, you were getting help from other people. But there's more. When he went to other places, now they're looking for me to raise money for them too. So you stand over there, but we got to raise money for your hotel. You're not even coming to our city now.
Mm.
And you're using the members of the organization to pay for every single thing in your life.
Yep.
Miss Madison, the money that she's stolen and embezzled and taken has come from the members of this organization. What right do you have to put your hand on anything? These fake bishops, what right do you have? Even when these pastors have anniversaries and pastors' offerings, it's all illegal. Is it illegal to give an offering? No. But the way we do in here has been illegal, especially anniversaries. It's all illegal. The $1,500 forcing a local congregation to raise that money strictly to pay for a CEO's food and personal spending during a single visit is highly illegal. Under IRS rules, a nonprofit cannot provide pocket money or undocumented expense cash to an executive. The chairman kickback structure. If the chairman title is given to the pastor who raises the most money, the church has instituted a predatory commercial sales hierarchy, using spiritual authority to extort funds from subordinate pastors to pay for an executive's personal weekend expenses is treated by courts as financial fraud. Period. G class is illegal. Daddy's club is illegal.
That'll
Bus
make you speak in
report,
tongues.
bus
Ducky,
reports
ducky.
is illegal. Love marches is illegal. The maids are illegal. Bands
Mm.
and choirs traveling across the highway, you're younger than 18, is illegal. Singing and recording and selling DVDs and CDs without people's permission is illegal. Taking testimonies, putting them in magazines, and
What do you
selling
mean by
magazines.
permission? You know, I know all of these members feel like they've given their consent because it's what daddy want to do. So what do you mean by consent?
Yeah,
What if it's verbal consent, or what if it's just known to be the culture that it's accepted to be the norm? Like, how do you,
there is
you know?
absolutely nothing whatsoever in this organization that constitutes a verbal agreement. Nothing, because the members have never even had an opportunity to be asked by anybody in this organization, do you agree, blah, 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 and black and white, for the members to respond, yes, I give my full consent.
Hmm.
Nothing is there. So even if they go right now and try to write up some phony and fake documents to go forward from now on, for those of you who are asking, well, Brother Lewis, if you understand all this stuff, why are you telling them? All they're going to do is go.
Hmm.
We got your past. We don't
Mm-hmm.
care about the future. The future is not yours. The future belongs to the members that can
Mm-hmm.
save it. You've already burnt yourself, and what's coming is coming. So, for all the DVDs and the CDs that we already have, listen, y'all have no idea how many DVDs and CDs I have.
Mm-hmm.
As an indoctrinated member under spiritual abuse, being psychologically conditioned to accept these men as servants of the Most High, we're going to show y'all what the government calls it. But the kickback for the chairmen to be pushing this makes you a co conspirator. For the pastors to take part in this makes you a co conspirator and aiding and abetting. And we're going to get there in a moment. Members, pay a little bit stricter attention to where we're going. We have just a few slides left, but they're going to be explosive,
Mm-hmm.
right? um, while churches are legally permitted to provide lodging, like a modest parsonage, or cover reasonable, that's modest means you just have a house. That's all. It's just a house where you stay when you're here. You don't have a king's mansion. You just have a house.
Mm-hmm.
Or cover reasonable travel expenses. If the organization is to get you transportation, that doesn't mean that you go somewhere and buy the equivalent of, oh, I don't know, a world leader's vehicle. The car that he has is the same car that was gifted to the president of North Korea by the president of Russia. That's the same exact car Mr. Cunningham drove during the furlough with custom made rims. The
Mm-hmm.
president of Russia gave that car to the president of North Korea, and the bishop of the United States has it to be chauffeured in,
Mm-hmm.
while the members didn't get a check for almost 2 straight months. And you came and took all that money out the door? Come on, people. Modest, reasonable travel expenses for visiting ministers, the expenditures you describe completely cross the line into excess benefit transactions. The $8,000 hotel bills, I can show you documents where one night costs more than $8,000 in one night that the members had to pay for. Not him, the members. So when he come walking in and looking at everybody and doing all this stuff, y'all need to understand you're looking thieves right in their eye. Him, the entire council, every single one of these pastors, right in their eye. And there's going to be a special note in here for security so that y'all understand how you're being used as well. The $8,000 hotel bills. The IRS uses the reasonableness standard, paying $8,000 to $15,000 for 4-star hotels and entourage lodging for a weekend visit is legally considered lavish and extravagant under IRS Publication 463. You never, ever want the IRS to come after you for living lavishly in extravagance. You don't want those two words to be used by the IRS. Undocumented compensation, because there's no independent board of directors setting a travel budget. Nobody in this organization is approving of his travel budget. Nobody knows where he is. No one knows where Mr. Cunningham is. Right now, nobody knows where he is. At least there was a time when the whole organization knew that the bishop is at 1665. Nobody knows where this man is ever. When he comes at the house of prayer and he leave, most of the time he's not even at the parsonages. He's staying in hotels. Because There's no independent board of directors setting a travel budget. These hotel stays and massive mansions are legally classified as disguised, undocumented compensation. That's another big problem for the IRS.
It's an old song, a rap song. Um, they used to use it in movies, but it just said hotel, hotel, holiday inn. Remember that?
Rapper's delight.
That's where the bishop been.
Yep. Hip hop.
Skirting, skirting,
Hip to the hip. It's a hip hip, a hop. You don't
and
stop
you
the
know.
rock. Bam, bam, boom. Rapper's delight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Um, severe IRS sanctions. The IRS can impose intermediate sanctions. This means the CEO can be personally taxed a 25% to 200% excise tax penalty on the entire value of every one of those luxury hotel stays and mansions, meaning double. The minimum is 25%, up to 200% is 2 times the amount of whatever the value is of those mansions, all of them, and every one of the hotels that he stayed at, along with the entourage. One of the penalties from the IRS is 25% of that total, or up to 2 times the total amount. And you have that much time to pay it. Now, furthermore, any church leader, pay attention, any church leader, pastors, or chairman who knowingly approved these payments can be personally fined by the IRS. Each pastor and chairman can be personally fined up to $20,000 per violation. Per violation. If it happened 10 times, you're looking at 200 grand a fine. Pastors and chairmen by the IRS. And we know this has happened down through the years. I remember that? Down through the years, right? Down through the years.
God been good to me. Oh, down.
Love that
Mhm,
song.
mhm,
Love that
mhm.
song. And I love singing that song also for missionary Sutler. Love singing that song. She loved that song. Love that woman. She has absolutely zero to do with any of this. She don't even know it. She ain't know nothing whatsoever about what was going on with the council and her husband. She ain't know none of it. She's always been clean and stellar and stood up always for what was right, for what the truth was, and for the law. Always. Many of y'all members don't even know that Missionary Sutler used to be a prison warden. She was a warden. Anyway, as sweet as she is, who in the world knew she was the boss in an entire prison system? um,
Wow.
yeah, talking about humble, meek, and modest. Yeah. Um, the position of local pastors This one you all will find interesting. As a pastor within the system, see, I put myself in here to see what AI was going to say to me if I was still involved in this nonsense. As a pastor within this system, you are placed in an incredibly dangerous legal position. Let that sink in, members. The pastors, every pastor in this house of prayer, going through all of these motions, involved in all of this illegal activity that Mr. Cunningham has you doing with these members taking their money, you are placed in an incredibly dangerous legal position.
No, not Elder Monroe.
Every single one, down to the smallest house of prayer, where the pastor's got 2, 3, 4 members. You will also be in the same boat as Mr. Monroe, as Mr. Taylor, as Mr. Any pastor, any minister up in that front. Because there's no standard accounting measures and no board oversight, the IRS can view local pastors who enforce these assessments as co-conspirators in an interstate tax evasion ring. Same thing with the love marches, same thing with charging the bus fees, same thing with cooking on the yard, same thing with having love gifts taken up every single week. Same thing with the illegal lottery, right? Ratchet, that I said racket. The Perry ratchet. Every week, every pastor. If a local pastor tells their congregation to give cash for a CEO visit, collects that cash, and hands it directly to a minister or the CEO without routing it through a transparent church bank account with a formal receipt, that pastor has participated in an undocumented, off the books cash transfer. Now, y'all think just because you bank whatever money's collected that you're free and clear. No, just because you bank the money doesn't make you free and clear. You're still a part of this illegal system, stealing money from the people in the name of a nonprofit while enriching a private individual involved in illegal activities behind the shield of a nonprofit. With that in mind, every single pastor and see secretaries, that's why I was telling you all, y'all need to get yourselves prepared because y'all handling the book work. The legal illusion of the love gift. In a 501c3 religious organization, leadership often claims that cash given directly to an individual is a personal tax-free gift. The IRS and federal courts have explicitly rejected this defense for decades. The IRS rule on pastoral gifts is this: if money is collected from church members and given to a leader in connection with their role, office, or services, the IRS legally classifies it as taxable compensation, not a gift. That means every single pastor's offering, the IRS looks at it as compensation. That should make you tremble a little bit. Systemic tax evasion, right? Systemic tax evasion. Collecting 1 million plus annually through local pastors to distribute to the CEO. When the pastors take a love gift every single week from the members in the congregation and love gift for the wives wife and former First Lady, without issuing IRS Form W-2s or 1099s, is a massive criminal tax evasion scheme. The fact that the recipients are church insiders means every single dollar is considered an unreported insider benefit. Unreported insider benefit. The bus love gifts, running proprietary luxury coach buses emblazoned with the CEO's name written on the bus to transport members while extracting $25,000 love gifts. See, y'all don't know. Some of the bus love gifts have been a whole lot more than $25,000. A lot more. Some have not been quite 25,000, but the point is that we're not supposed to be collecting any money on these buses because it's illegal. To do this, in additional gifts, introduces commercial transit laws. The first one is unlicensed commercial transport. We're not licensed to operate a chartering bus line, so we shouldn't be charging seats. Operating interstate bus lines across 26 states to carry church members requires specific Department of Transportation licensing. You're supposed to be licensed to do that. It requires commercial insurance, and it requires strict financial reporting. Interstate wire and mail fraud. This is what Golden Boy was talking about. Another method of mail fraud. If interstate communication lines, phones, internet, church announcements, are used to organize these bus trips, which we know they are, and the primary hidden purpose of the trips is to illegally extract and move undocumented cash across state lines, federal prosecutors can charge the leadership with wire fraud and interstate transportation of stolen, fraudulent property. They can charge with interstate transportation of either stolen or fraudulent property. And our members had no idea that they're involved in this type of thing. Liability for the CEO's wife and the former executive family. What trouble did they get into? By explicitly routing hundreds of thousands of dollars in love gifts to the CEO's wife and the former CEO's wife. Now, some of y'all might say, they're not giving that much money. It adds up. And in the eyes of the IRS and the government, they're not going to say, well, how much did you collect last month, last year? They're going to look at the entire time. Now, if you don't think that they're getting quite a bit of money, then you're not paying attention. But the CEO's wife and the former CEO's wife collecting this money, the scheme expands to criminal targets, but they become a criminal target. Miss Madison becomes a criminal target, and now Miss Cunningham becomes a criminal target. Immediate IRS intermediate sanctions. Under 4958. The IRS does not just punish the CEO, they punish any disqualified person, which explicitly includes spouses and family members, who receives an unapproved excessive financial benefit from a nonprofit. Now, who's the one who approves it? The board of directors. And if they did not approve of these gifts being raised and given to these wives, Houston, we got a problem. The IRS can hit the wives with a personal 200% excise tax penalty on every dollar they received over the decades. Over the decades. All those years multiplied times 2. Not only that, they can freeze their personal bank accounts and place tax liens on their homes or assets to claw back the stolen charitable funds. This is stolen money that they took because the whole practice has been illegal. People, taking 25,000, I just made up a modest number for the love marches, taking 25,000 in raw cash per service over 100 times a year, because we know Mr. Cunningham visits these different houses just like other past bishops more than 100 times a year. More than. And if the total amount in each love march equals 25 grand, that's what this example is for, that means the CEO is personally collecting roughly $2.5 million in cash annually. We know that is a lot more money than that. He's collecting that money straight from the altar. The banking dilemma. In the United States, any person or entity that deposits more than $10,000 in cash into a bank account triggers an automatic federal currency transaction report. If the CEO or his ministers are keeping this money entirely in cash, hoarding it in safes, or breaking the deposits down into smaller amounts under $10,000 to avoid bank triggers, they are committing a separate federal felony known as structuring. No unilateral spending. Even if the money is deposited into a church account, the CEO's recorded statement, once you give the money, you don't tell me what to do with it, proves that public charitable funds are being treated as a personal piggy bank. That statement proves to AI that everything in here, G-class, tithes, anything, it's all up for grabs. And we should have known that by the way he's talking to the members, daring them. The scenario you're describing outlines an interstate cash extraction operation that likely amounts to millions of dollars in annual tax fraud, federal wire fraud, and illegal structuring. If the CEO's taking in over $2.5 million a year in undocumented cash through mandatory church marches, plus an additional 1 million via love gifts from local pastors every single Sunday, plus tens of thousands more collected on custom luxury buses, all without bank tracking or tax withholding, this enters the territory of high-level federal racketeering, RICO. Under federal law, the word gift has a strict legal definition, and hiding behind religious terminology does not shield these transactions from criminal prosecution. Mr. Cunningham, oh boy. The critical turning point for a pastor. As a pastor who has been a part of this community for 45 years, Brother Lewis, you are witnessing the weaponization of faith to run a highly lucrative, undocumented cash generation syndicate. Because you are an official minister within this 26 state network, you face catastrophic personal liability if the federal government steps in before you report it. If an IRS criminal investigation or FBI raid occurs, investigations will look at every local pastor who organized these bus trips, managed the cash marches, or collected the love gifts as an active co-conspirator who facilitated the fraud. Every single pastor in this organization, I told you all before, okay, the details of Goodwin versus the United States. In the landmark federal case, Goodwin versus the U.S., the United States Court of Appeal established the exact legal precedent that destroys the CEO's love gift defense. Facts of the case. A longtime pastor, Lloyd Goodwin, received substantial cash payments 3 times a year, three, directly from his congregation during special pastor appreciation days. The church did not track these funds, did not route them through church bank accounts, and did not report them to the IRS, claiming they were personal, tax-free love gifts from individual members to their pastor. The court's ruling. The federal court ruled completely against the pastor. The court held that money given to a religious leader by members of their congregation is taxable income, not a gift. If the payment is made because of the leader's position or service, it's not a gift. And not only is it income, but it's taxable income. Why does that apply to the CEO? The court established several specific tests that match your situation perfectly. The objective relationship test. The court ruled that it does not matter if individual members feel love or gratitude when handing over the cash. Because the cash is collected in a structured church setting, the aisle marches, the bus trips, the pastoral collections, the money is tied directly to the CEO's professional role. The regularity test. The court noted that because these collections happen regularly and systematically, they constituted a structured method of compensation. Your CEO's marches over 100 times a year and weekly love gifts are highly regular and systematic. Under Goodwin, your CEO, his wife, and the former CEO's wife are legally guilty of criminal tax evasion for failing to report millions of dollars in taxable pastoral income. Guess who else is guilty? Pastors and chairmen for not reporting yours either. Now, let's turn our attention here. The bus seats, COVID checks, adding a mandatory seat charge, and a strict COVID vaccination card requirement changes the legal nature of the luxury coach bus trips. It transitions the operation from a casual church caravan into an unlicensed, regulated, interstate commercial transit business. Look at this again. Adding a mandatory seat charge and a strict COVID-19 vaccination card requirement changes the legal nature of the luxury coach bus trips. It transitions the operation from a casual church caravan into an unlicensed, regulated interstate commercial transit business. I've been saying we're not licensed to do that. That's what make the whole thing illegal. This introduces several severe violations of federal and state laws. Unlicensed commercial motor carrier operations. That's a federal law. When you look at the middle of this, when an organization charges members a set fee for a seat on a bus traveling across state lines, the organization is no longer running a private church trip. Here, Let me look at this middle again. When an organization charges members a set fee for a seat on a bus traveling across state lines, the organization is no longer running a private church trip. It is legally operating as a for hire interstate motor carrier. Again, illegal. Department of Transportation violations. Under Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration regulations, any entity transporting passengers across state lines for a fee must possess an active U.S. DOT number, operating authority,
Mm-hmm.
and file public evidence of financial responsibility, at least $5 million in public liability insurance for buses seating 15 plus passengers. Every single bus needs to have a $5 million public liability insurance claim or package. It's got to be covered.
I wonder if they ever can you hear me clearly?
Yep.
I wonder if they ever fall behind on these bills. Considering, how certain things tend to fall behind, whether it's bills or upkeep, you know?
We know that they have, right? Remember, there was one of our documents where we actually lost the permission to operate in a certain state,
Oh yes. Uh-huh. Yep.
right? And there was a fee paid for that,
Mm-hmm. I remember how much it was too. Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to share that?
If we're both talking about the same one, I believe it was $30,000.
30, yeah, 30, either 30 or 33,000, but yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I
30,000. Yeah. On the head.
Mhm. Now, I found out that there is no fee
Hmm?
for $30,000.
What? Are you kidding me?
Cannot make this up.
Huh?
You can't make it up. There is no $30,000 fee.
So
The highest fee, you can't make this stuff up.
what did $30,000 go then?
The highest fee, if I'm not mistaken, goes up to $280.
Oh my goodness.
Is that not proof
Wow.
of bribery?
Yes.
People,
Oh man. They made it look like a tax or something like that. You know what I mean?
it was, and it's
Wow.
not a typo. And we know
Right.
it's
Oh, it's
intentional.
handwritten. It's intentional.
When you
It's
write that
intentional.
figure,
It's hard to mistake 3,000 and 30,000
a
or
comma,
a comp, right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I cannot begin to tell you all, members, their back is against the wall. They're nailed already. We're not excited
Right.
that people are in trouble. It just becomes exciting that we're finding all of this evidence everywhere.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Now, each bus should have a $5 million insurance coverage, every single one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's if it was legitimately operating as a for hire interstate motor carrier. But we
Mm-hmm.
know that they're not legitimately operating as a for hire interstate motor carrier. So,
Mm-hmm.
because they're not operating that way, There's no 5 million insurance policy on these buses.
Mm-hmm. My Lord. That makes sense to me. Because they sure not paying the drivers not on payroll.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. And a lot of the drivers are having issues with all this stuff because they're promised money and many times they're not getting it.
Yeah, you gotta wait till you get old to get that insurance payout that you've been paying in all your life for, that you'll never get.
Uh, the, watch this. Criminal interstate transportation. Criminal interstate transportation. When you ride these buses, I'm telling y'all, if you get pulled over, criminal interstate transportation, operating a fleet of luxury buses across 26 states to collect millions in cash while charging seat fees also without DOT commercial registration
Mhm.
is a federal transportation crime.
My Lord, my Lord.
It just keeps coming. Oh, here. See what we got. Proactive steps to protect your status. As a pastor who has served this community for 45 years, your immediate goal must be to separate your local church and your name from this national liability. Mr. Lewis, your immediate goal must be to separate yourself, your local church, and your name from this national liability. They didn't even call it an organization. AI called this organization a liability.
Mhm.
They didn't say separate yourself from this national organization. No. National nonprofit. No. Separate yourself from this national liability.
Sheesh.
Document the bus instructions. Keep any written paperwork, texts, recordings where the CEO or the chairman mandates the seat prices and the vaccination card checks. You should document it so that you can use it later because there's definitely going to be a later. Do not enforce the mandate. If you are a pastor still, don't enforce the mandate. Do not personally collect seat fees or verify medical cards for the CEO's transit lines. Let the CEO's personal entourage handle those transactions so that the financial and regulatory liability remains entirely on them. To involve yourself by collecting all this money in love gift, collecting these seat fees, by making sure that you do what Mr. Cunningham says, you do what your chairman say, you do what your district chairman say, all you're doing is following orders, whatever the council says, there will be no excuse. I'm just following orders will not apply. You are a co-conspirator,
Mm-hmm.
period. And said, immediately separate yourself and write stuff down. Document, so that you have a record to tell them when they come kicking the door in.
Yep.
Now watch where this goes. Ooh.
My.
Ah, my goodness. Ben done told you, right?
And thank God. that we are being told. Sheesh.
Hmm.
Mm, mm, mm.
Absence of a board of directors by law, every DC nonprofit corporation must maintain a board of directors comprised of a minimum of 3 distinct individuals. Operating without a board violates the basic requirements of corporate existence. You absolutely cannot exist in the eyes of the law without a board. We've never had one in 107 years. People, breach of fiduciary duties is humongous.
Mhm,
You broke a contract with
mhm.
the United States government.
Come on. This was huge. This was really, really huge. And none of us even have ever heard of what it is. And I know for a fact the preachers at the house of prayer have never heard of it. I can almost guarantee with certainty they don't learn about this in seminary while they're there for 2 weeks. Did
Never,
you learn about this in seminary while you were there for 2 weeks, Brother
never,
Lewis? Because
never.
I didn't learn about it in nothing until I got on here and started researching, learning what information you were putting out. And I learned more about it, and now I have even more caution, and I'm appreciative of having learned more about the care of duty. So, like, yeah,
It
the duty of care, rather.
is is scary to know what they're going to come after when they come if we don't fix it.
Yeah.
Officers must act in good faith and in the best interests of the organization. Love Gift has nothing to do with the best interests of the organization.
Mhm.
Daddy's Club, the G Class program, the bus love gifts, paying for the bus seats, none of that has the best interest of the organization. Even pastor's offering and pastor's anniversary, club anniversaries, none of that has the best interest of the organization. The parades has nothing to do with the best interests of the organization. None of it. Commingling funds, tracking cash credits arbitrarily, and hiding financials from members. The bishop is hiding the financials from all of the members. When you do that, it constitutes a total breach of trust and a diversion of charitable assets. That means the government knows that you did one thing, so you can do another. You did this so that you can divert funds, take it from this and put it over here. Take it from this, put it over here. Take it from this, put it over here. Why? Because this over here is where you're taking money out of. They know that you're diverting funds. People, illegal gambling, lottery is raffles and rallies. All of it. Not just the raffles with a ticket. Every pickup, every game of chance. Anybody got to put money up to get something else? Illegal gambling and unlicensed raffling in our organization. In DC, no individual or entity may hold a raffle without an official license issued by the DC Lottery Board. How many times have you seen a license given to the members of the House of Prayer by the DC Lottery Board? Even if you put in an application to get a permit or a license to have a raffle, the fact that you had to get it from the DC Lottery Board should tell you as a minister, wait a minute, raffling is the same as playing the lottery.
Mm-hmm. And on top of that, if it were legitimate, it would have the DC Lottery Board's logo on the literature with the trademark or whatever it is, so that the logo, so that you know that this is licensed by the lottery board.
Because people print and make up fake lottery tickets.
Mhm.
That's why that stamp is there. Because lottery tickets is like printing dollar bills.
Mhm.
People, oh my goodness. Running unlicensed raffles for decades is a systematic violation of criminal gambling statutes. All of it has been illegal.
The church might as well just walk in the gas station and grab the pastors and grab the thing of the scratch off and just walk right on out. It's the same doggone thing.
It's the same thing. We might as well be playing bingo,
Mhm.
right? But at least bingo is licensed. The House of Prayer is not.
Right.
Now, look, while churches enjoy automatic 501c3 status and exemptions from filing annual Form 990 tax returns, they are absolutely not exempt from basic operational tax laws. You can be exempt from whatever else, but you're not exempt from every law. Listen, we have no coming to an end. Here we go with the masks. Now, this one, you all please pay attention. Masking as a tool to conceal identity during cash operations. Federal investigators like the FBI or IRS, Criminal Investigation Division, they're trained to look at the practical effects of weird or extreme rules. Now, we have some weird and extreme rules. We have some. And when they look at this, they try to figure out why this is. So watch carefully. Anonymity in the cash loop, forcing 100% of the congregation to remain masked during the high volume cash marches, 25,000 plus per service, makes it incredibly difficult for outside observers.
Mhm. I didn't even think that that was the reason why. No,
Right.
no, no, no,
Right?
no.
Hidden cameras or whistleblowers to verify exactly who
Who is who?
is handling the cash bags or passing the money or acting as the carriers for the CEO.
Mm.
Investigators may view the persistent mask mandate as a deliberate operational tactic to shield the identities of the
No
people
wonder they wouldn't shut down for
undocumented.
COVID.
Cash under the table.
COVID hit. They said, "Oh, we got a winner. Run it up by any means necessary, no matter what the expense."
Keep those masks. Members don't have no idea what's going on in here.
Wowzers.
People. Now, all that said, when you look at everything you've shared over this particular conversation, the picture is completely clear. This is no longer just a church with a few bad habits. Now, this is AI. AI said it's not just a church with a few bad habits. It is a highly controlled, multi-state commercial operation designed to extract millions of dollars from loyal members while operating completely outside the law. AI said it, not us. I don't believe them. They don't know what they're talking about. AI knows what it's talking about. AI is recognizing all of these things that is done in the criminal world. Look at number one, the foundation. A DC nonprofit operating across 26 states with zero board of directors, zero accountability, and no financial transparency is the first indicator that this is all intentional. The financial exploitation, number two, systematic cash extraction via mandatory altar marches, weekly pastor love gifts for the family. That's not pastor's offering. That's the pastor's raising love gift every Sunday for the bishop and his wives, right? The bishop's wife and the former bishop's wife. That's what this is. An unbudgeted $1,500 state assessments per visit. That's the second sign. The labor exploitation, forcing members to work commercial cafeterias or bake sales for arbitrary G-class salvation credits rather than legal U.S. wages. That's your third sign. The unlicensed commerce is the fourth. Charging for seat fees on high-dollar luxury coach buses, traveling state lines without U.S. Department of Transportation licensing or the required insurance. That's your fourth sign that all of this is intentional. And number five, the extreme control. Enforcing rigid, forced medical mandates, vaccine cards, and continuous masking, even outside, under the threat of physical removal to keep the congregation compliant and insulated, is your fifth sign. Y'all got to wear a mask outside. 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 This is intentional. Now, since all these things are pointing to the idea that we've been involved in illegal activity this whole time, the mask requirement, even for outdoor events up until mid-2026, does not change the underlying criminal tax evasion or the unlicensed commercial transit violations. However, from a legal perspective, Enforcing a strict mask mandate under the threat of physical removal or escort by security serves as powerful evidence of a highly coercive, insular, and controlling environment. This is all by design. In a federal or state investigation, this mandatory masking policy impacts the case in three specific ways: evidence of coercion, control, and undue influence. When state attorneys general or federal prosecutors investigate financial fraud within a religious organization, they look closely at the level of control leadership exerts over the victims. No matter who you are, if you've been a member of this house of prayer, you've been a victim. We all have been abused by these men, no matter who you are. Minimizing dissent, mandating masks nationwide, even outdoors, and threatening immediate physical removal creates a high stress environment of mandatory compliance. This level of extreme control makes it difficult for average members to ask questions about the missing finances. $800,000 cars or the lack of a board of directors? Come on. Come on. You cannot make this up. So, with all of that in mind, people, let's get ready to close this out. The government calls all of us victims. And because the government calls us all victims, we need to understand that talking to the members of the House of Prayer who we think or we say still believe in Mr. Cunningham, you're dealing with a victim. The same way we believed in these men, we were victimized. We're subjects of psychological conditioning. So as a result, the government will look at us as victims. Now, the individuals who are continuously still doing these things and taking part in reporting money, again, aiding and abetting at this point. Now, might you get into trouble? I don't know. I don't know. However, the fact of the matter is, you have a little bit of time to determine what it is you're going to do, because up to this point right now, you're simply looked upon just like everybody else as a co-conspirator. As far as the members, aiding and abetting, but you've been victimized, so there's a lot of things that's going to get you as a member off the hook. However, we got lists of names that we're going to be going by anyway. So with that, let me see if there's any comments left. Oh yeah, and raises love gift on the buses. Yeah, so we covered them all, and you're right, time wasted. Thank you so much. The amounts of money is completely insane. However, this is where we are. So we have, there's something else. Oh, right now, if all of you individuals are calling pastors and councilmen and anybody else, and y'all hear voicemail messages, please let us know. All of this is new, and they have not been using voicemail messages until recently. Um, so, just a quick head nod. All of you who are tired and sick and tired of this, reach out to us, email, um, and simply, again, uh, email us, and again, just ready for change. And we'll take it from there after we see how many we have. Other than that, we want to thank everybody for hanging out with us.
Oh,
For,
wait.
yeah.
Are there not 3 more slides?
No, they go back.
Oh,
Um,
okay. To the
and
beginning. I got you.
yeah, let me make sure. Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah. Um, so everyone, again, just understand we're dealing with victims. You've been a victim. I've been a victim. Miss Mintz, Golden Boy has been victimized. And we're sick and tired of being victimized. We're sick and tired of being bullied. We're sick and tired of being called names. We're sick and tired of being kicked around, pushed around. Um,
Mhm.
we're just sick and tired. And some of us are sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Absolutely.
So, with that said, you got anything else you'd like to add?
No. I think that was great.
Hmm? Okay, so, he popped up in DC last night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
which is odd, right?
Yeah, because we just talked about that, about him not being there. And then boom, I'm here. What are they talking about? I can be here, you know.
We know he's watching. We
Yeah,
know
but
he's
I bet he didn't
watching.
stay that long, and I bet he didn't stay at Portal Drive either.
No, and on a Monday night, you stopped in Six and Elm Street to say I was thinking about y'all. I wanted to come out.
Man,
This anyway. Yeah.
trying to make himself look like he's so busy doing work when really he's doing nothing at all. He's just in his head, you know. Um we put it into AI, and AI said that he's running. He's on the run, but he's running from his own thoughts and not because anyone is actively chasing him.
Running from his own thoughts,
Hmm.
and in fact, the scripture tells us that if we're not obedient to our Heavenly Father and His Word, it said, you will run when none, you will flee when none chaseth after you.
Mm.
Yeah. We see all these things happening, and it's just a shame. But with that in mind, we don't want to be caught on their side of things. We want to be caught on our side of things, um, doing what we can to bring attention to what we need to bring attention to so that we can fix this. So we're right there at the edge. We're right at the finish line, and um, until the members either come together to have a meeting, we're just going to keep right on at it. Um, Again, we are right there. Y'all don't know what it means, but we're right there. Um, and before you know it, there's going to be yelling and crying and what's that song? Dancing in the streets,
Dancing in the street.
right?
I don't know. That one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Down in East LA, dancing in the
The
street.
street.
Come on, everybody dancing. Right? And
Hmm.
again, people are going to be pouring out. Oh, it's music, 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 music everywhere. Can you imagine text messaging, phone calls that day, that night? People are not going to believe it. And it will have been done over. The news is circulating that he is gone. The council is gone. These pastors are gone. That day, everybody's going to know. When y'all see what it is that we have, you're going to ask, what were we doing? Wait, we could have been done this. Anyway,
Listen, you know what? Speaking of which, it's funny you said that because I was on the phone with some members earlier, and they were talking to me about they were like, so wait, man, so they out here making us feel like we voting these bishops in and we not really voting them in. I said, well, when do you actually vote? And then he paused. I said, okay, well, I said, so now let me ask you this. I said, when they call for the vote, do they say council only, or do you get to vote during that time as well? And he said, oh, no, they definitely say council only.
yeah,
And I said, okay, so then you thought you got to vote, but you didn't get to vote. And then I told the members, I said, as a matter of fact, during that moment, all of you can override them and vote right then. But they don't want you all to know it.
and the fact that every single General Assembly, I need everybody to understand me and hear me. Every single General Assembly has been improperly run, improperly chaired, and has been also illegal. Therefore, every single one of them is completely null and void. Now, y'all can say what you want. These are the facts. Why? Because the chairperson, number one, is an illegal chair. He self-appointed. You don't appoint yourself chairperson. Secondly, there's been no lawful election. This is what you're getting at. Thirdly, all of the inner workings of the General Assembly has been completely manipulated, completely planned and plotted, orchestrated by the insiders known as the General Counsel and the General Assembly Secretary in order to pull the wool completely over the people's eyes. Quite frankly, the General Assembly has been hijacked. So when y'all email, ready for change, ready for change, ready for change. That's all. And then as soon as we have enough, you'll be hearing from me. Until that time, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. We're not going to stop at all. This is way too, the number of people. Anyway, that said, let everybody get ready to turn in. Didn't mean to go this late. However,
Yeah.
I want to thank you all. Thank you. Boy, did you have anything else left that you want to share before we close out?
No, sir. That's it. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate everyone that tuned in.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me make sure that we don't have anything left. Well, hey, there's Dwayne. Thank you. You're welcome. Crook. Dwayne.
I love Dwayne. You know that. You know I do. We love you, brother. Yes,
You
sir.
guys take care. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evening, the rest of your night. Hope you get a wonderful night's rest and you're ready and prepared to take on the day in the morning. Until next time, we'll be seeing you. Have a good one. Golden Boy, you take it easy, Doc. I'll be in touch. Thanks
Indeed.
again for everything.
Yes, sir. You too. Good night,
Yeah.
everybody.
Good night, everyone.